I don't think this nigga solid. I don't think this nigga solid. I don't think this nigga solid. Solid. I don't think this nigga solid. I don't think this nigga solid. I don't think this nigga solid. Nigga screaming that he's solid, but he got a bunch of hollows that's inside him. Probably why he screaming, probably why he wildin'. I don't think he thinking, I don't think he got it body after body. I'm a kamikaze that hit his block with shotty after shotty. Shot my nigga hard, find me in his lobby. Let the light flash like a paparazzi. Hey, true foe, you a lame. You know you won't shoot a thing. Who to go, who to go? You can say it, do a post, do a vote, you can make it. I've been in the set, no face, just anonymous unless your space got a problem with the best. UFO, then a UFO gonna be flying by your chest. Unidentified, got it by the steps, riding with the tech, driving with a rep, finding by the breath. Mama trying to see if it's true, like a lie detector test. Damn, better have more lining in your vest. I'ma hit his neck, then I make sure the llama do the rest. Listening to verb, got this nigga stretched like a bitch in a yoga class with Pilates, working on a body, trying to be a hottie in a dress. Hey, true, I'm in Chicago with the wreck, west side where they riding in the vet. Bitches told me you be dying during sex. Yeah, I heard no shawty be impressed. Kill yourself or I'm bodying you next. I don't think this nigga solid. 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 No, I don't think this nigga solid. 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 Demetrius, street nigga, yeah, I seen the clips. Weak nigga, you ain't devious, just a cheap nigga that ain't seeing chips. I'm a beast nigga from the previous little beef nigga. This is tedious for you geek niggas and immediate for elite niggas. You ingredients in my sweet liquor. This the easiest little chic Twitter finger deviant who just be bitter cause Beasley ain't never keep with him. Disobedience, got his teeth missing, now he drinking shit. Woo. Yeah, don't you got missing hair something like alopecia and I'm hearing something from the gallery. Yo, this widow nothing but a ballerina, nigga. I was dating me a ballerina, had her wearing nothing. You a rapping diva and I hear you want it, so I'm at you, nigga. I ain't scared of ducking. I was trying to save you from embarrassment, cause a nigga paid you to be arrogant, and you went and made you a comparison. Now you in the grave where your talent been. And that other nigga from Chicago told him happy birthday a while ago. He a young nigga with a calico, probably never seen a real patio. Remember Denzel in that one movie? He was selling drugs as a hustler nigga, but he had a party with his cousin with him and a bullet shot. So he snuffed the nigga, then he put him inside the grand piano when he just let it all touch the nigga. Now you probably like, where you taking this, Mickey? Pay attention, it's the fucking liquor that spilled on the alpaca carpet. Shorty cleaned it up with a butler winner, and he yelling at his other cousin, put his glasses in it, then he slapped the bucket, nigga. I'ma have Merlot spilling all on the carpet when I drop this shit. Told the paramedics that's a 25K carpet, gotta block that shit, nigga.
Nigga, hurts when you gotta kill a nigga you love. It's all good though. Sosa. No more talking, nigga. Look, all this chatting for hours is really silly, nigga. With no rapping, I swear you gotta be backwards. No matter how many flowers you try to give a nigga, it's like they only want them on top of their casket. Damn. Pay the price for acting ladylike. We rarely see black M&Ms. Kinda shady, right? You sent the shot, so I flash back like it's 80s night. Playing big or put you in the box, that was Gravy's plight. Thought I was hijacking that live, now I'm taking flight. Your girl in the ghost and gobbling dick. Say goodnight, you know how I Rolls Royce. Chess move, you see Ryan Reynolds wrapped in a lagoon, that's a Deadpool. Lupe freestyled and got you out of here. You cried alone from playing yourself, shed a solid tear. All that syllable, biblical, is kinda weird. It dresses you up from being direct, cause you probably scared. Your fans say I'm on a rampage. Better reunite, slaughterhouse or get cut. You need your band-aid. I told him prove you do what I do. He gave me lampshade and said no. I gave the bitch room and then the man cave. Divide his body, the footage got him severed. Contradicting every lie, pull yourself together. Your songs ain't no anthems, your bar placement random, and you still ain't bring that energy to RJ and Ransom, nigga. I think it's crazy, right? Like, this all started cause RJ said him and Ransom was the best. And you responded on IG. You never got in the booth and spoke to these niggas. So yo, I'ma bar they style, check. Talk to you, nigga. Got rid of the pounds, I had a literal weight plan on Montgomery Ave, bad, I'm dealing that name brand. Catch voice at the register and give him a face scan. This ain't RJ or Sean Kemp, original Rain Man. They loving the pressure, want me to test ya. KRS One with the lectures, big pun with the letters on the roof. About to leave Roy sick, clutching Berettas. Bullets rain over you, now we really under the weather, pain. Randy Nichols, I'm dissecting the track. More fly, elegant rap, his pride get him attacked. This guy's skeleton crack till Ryan Melanin's flat. Then the white guy he rides with cosigners, melanin's black. Don't cry, give him a clap. I'm Lucifer, the Y3 fly, devilish cat who decides heaven is whack. Now my attention is back, apply pressure with facts. Marvel at your multiverse till you die mentioning that duffel. That's me paying homage to my niggas. Cause you was supposed to get in the booth and respond to that instead of getting on IG on a fucking rant, nigga. It's your problem, man. And my man killed you. Woke up in the middle of the night. Got you out of here, quick. People taking me being unbothered as weakness. Mills at the dock, I'm done harboring meekness. Rob Martin know that my son's father's a genius. All them dumb shots when I'm unboxed with the defense. Ryan Montgomery, hiding behind every rhymer, he defining as brotherly. I've decided he's grumbly by my discovery. 5'9" is trying to be somebody. The upper echelon recognizes by his redundancy. Hove took you off renegade like it was custody. Your dad ain't even pushed back, surprising you suddenly. On the sideline, crying uncomfortably. I am abundantly tired and hungrily. I ain't a gluttony. Why am I suddenly mock the loyalty that I'm giving publicly? Lupe is my brother and I'ma ride with him stubbornly. Defending the best and nevertheless adrenaline been in my chest. He getting regrets forever discrediting vets while living off Eminem's mess. He got a song with Kiss and Fab. Read it out the book of Ryan, but I would be lying if I ever said that shit is trash. All this talk about the pen and pad, you good at writing. It's ironic you won with FAB, but you lost to Mr. Fab. Playing Mufasa got you some battle scars. If you would've checked the box, you probably on Amazon. Instead of dying in the jungle, Jordan meme, Avatar. I'm Jeff Bezos, out of space with galactic bars. Wait, that's something that Royce would do. He'll take something from pop culture and exploit it through a point or two. Like Sha'Carri Richardson, Bill Cosby, common shit. Current event bars ain't skills, kinda obvious. You gotta quit doing entendre without comic wit. I don't subscribe to it, I'm the definition, the opposite. Chain punching, you do Texas, I do collar shit. Get stoned with a great structure until your monolith. Obelisk, look what I'm amounting to. A steep yes, at my peak next, no TV. When Ryan Seacrest, top of the hill. Here's the cliffhanger like Cosby Closet. Eating pork, claiming Muslim hogwash. Ryan Wildin', stop it novice. Listen what I'm giving you. Yeah, I check boxes. That's what more tissues do. And stop fibbing too, nigga. You was mad at Cass and turned to rock him with he ass. Ain't like the aftermath. Did the same thing with Pain. Then you got scolded. He had you holding on your chin like Francois Rodin. Look what I have sculpted. Nigga talking checking boxes. Y3 all the time, never a checking boxes. They'll find his chicken head dismembered in checker boxes. I'm Bobby Fischer, you playing chess with checker boxes. He loved MMA. Every day he checking boxes. Joe Budden, dick riding. Look at Royce checking boxes. Money in the mail, man. I see the checking boxes. Your chick be in my DMs when I checking boxes. Ask women, this guy know I'm checking boxes. Fuck that, I'm Craig on Friday. I ain't checking boxes. They all thinking I ain't got fire. Literally, you not Christopher Nolan. Ryan, fuck what you picture me on IG. The way that I handled it showed humility. But this nigga bathing in arrogance, insecurity. Disparaging words by Lupe making mural. You tried to do it and failed. You should've called it plural. Lay him face down and ask him, you want a war? No spine. This is easy. I'm back to the drawing board. Now watch he don't respond to this shit. Any money bet the nigga don't say nothing. And Royce, you know how I give it up. We gonna do this until 2022, nigga. Facts.
What's up? What's up, everybody? What's going on? What's
Smicky.
What's going on? That definitely does make you a super fan, Angela. Okay. So what we got on the ones and twos today, we're not going to probably waste a lot of time speaking. Okay. A lot of adjustments for the channel been going on. We're going to be hitting up some donation requests I got backed up on last month. One thing I have to have everybody understand that I do have general channel markers that I need to hit every month. So if I don't do any donation requests for a while, that's probably just me wanting to hit those marks for the month. Like I have a certain amount of views that I like to hit per month. And if any of the reaction requests are not helping towards that, then I have to kind of start doing more trendy stuff. Yeah, but that's one of my favorite songs. So I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna make for a reaction. Shoot. And you know how much dancing I did to that club, to that song back in 2011, 2012? And I did so much dancing to that song, man. All right. So today we're gonna be hitting up a 5 for 50. One that I put on the back burner for a while. Got a bunch of them, man. Let me show y'all what's going on. All right, so we got a 5 for 50 to hit. 3 for 30. We could hit those in this stream, honestly. But I feel like some of these probably need to go on, maybe have their own live. I'm not sure. I think I reacted to a Gap Band a while ago. Dropped the bomb on me. Yeah, so we got a bunch of reactions that we are backed up on, and I have all day. So I'm not necessarily doing anything. I was going to go work out before I did this. But I'll see if I go work out like before. Maybe after this. Oh, I did early in the morning. But I try to stay away from songs that I'm like very familiar with. But Drop the Bomb on Me, like I definitely have heard that one. Well, probably not the whole song though. Because it's funny when you have a reaction channel based on discovery. Sometimes, like, as soon as you say, "Oh, I know this," everybody leaves. Everybody leaves the video, and it does horribly. Ah, what is your problem, cat? This thing here. Look at this thing. Just begging for attention. Okay. Look at this thing. Okay. Look. Just begging for attention. Just begging for attention. We don't know what to do with you. Go find something to do, Caesar. Look, hold up. She may want to leave the room. Let me see. All right, so I pretty much got it lined up. We got donation requests. We got a lot of them. And I'll probably be hitting those over the course of the week. All right, so my hair is a mess. Shoot. My rubber band. You dropped the bomb on me, baby. Man, I know I got a rubber band around here somewhere. That's awfully weird. I've never not had a rubber band. Well, put the bomb on me, baby. See, now you got the song stuck in my head. Got the bomb on me, baby. You dropped the bomb on me. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna jump into these reactions. We just gonna keep going till I can't go. All right, so this is kind of gonna be like I would like to do these more like radio. Do these reaction requests more like a radio station play type of thing, where I just play the music, but I don't know. I don't know what to do. Hey, what's up, Tony? Man, I remember when I moved away, when I moved over to Texas. Man, I swear, I think I was in Mississippi like 30 minutes. Yeah, like you like sitting on getting on I-10 and going through Mississippi, bro. Like it's such a like you. I thought I'd be in Mississippi like an hour or so, man. I was in Mississippi for 35, 40 minutes, man. Then you get to Louisiana, and then you be in Louisiana for about 6 hours. All right, so we starting out. I guess I record these as like regular videos too. Yeah. Home of the blues. I wouldn't mind, like, if there's like some events going on in Mississippi, I wouldn't mind coming. I just never been to Mississippi. Like, just like, oh shoot. All right. All right, you guys. So today, on the ones and twos, man, we jumping over. We're going a little international today on this 550. We banging in with more Haven. We got a Floor Jansen uh solo song. Yeah, Epica, Ariana again, Urban Dance Squad. All right. So Urban Dance Squad is a Dutch hip hop funk band and rock band. All right. So the video of that will be recorded in this stream too. Hey, what's up, Catherine? I'll be hitting up your pink reaction. Can I ask you guys a question? Like, I know you guys have reaction requests, but is it your... So can I ask you guys a question? When it comes to me doing reaction requests, do you guys expect me to post them on YouTube? Hey, I need to ask y'all as like fans, right? So the expectation when I do a reaction request is for me to post it on YouTube, right? That's up to me. Tony, what do you think? Catherine, what do you think? The Blues Museum is in Mississippi. Look like a field trip might need to happen. Yeah, I agree with you, Angela. The more difficult thing is that the way YouTube has changed, it very much has switched up the way that we are supposed to do these videos. And it's hard because I see how it reflects on my channel when I do donation requests. And I talked to a few creators, and sometimes they handle donation requests on their Patreon. But I know a lot of people don't really want to use Patreon, at least the ones subscribed to me. Because the only reason I say that, because now it's like YouTube is no longer kind of pushing out videos like they used to. Like normally, like back in the day, probably like 4 or 5 years ago, when you post a video, it pushes out to everybody is subscribed by it. But now they're basing these on like previous watch time. You know what I'm saying? So they're only pushing out videos to the people who are interested in that kind of content. Like the algorithm has to go find those people. Sorry about that, man. I understand that. But if I had but just talking to y'all, but like if I had another platform, like another YouTube channel to like drop, because I was talking to I was talking to Stacy. I was actually talking to Stacy about this. And she gets a lot of donation requests too. And she works alongside her community and her mods to decide like which videos that goes up on the channel, because we all kind of like growing our channels differently. But she really made me think about like being more picky about what I show on YouTube. I've also thought about making some donation requests like for members only. That's like members only content. I've also thought about using Patreon. I also thought about jumping out with a second channel. A second channel like just for like donation requests that don't necessarily fit the audience of this channel. So you guys can still stay on YouTube and view those reactions. So it kind of like when I talked to Stacey about it, like it kind of put me in a different position about it. That growing on YouTube you got to be a little bit more careful now than you used to back in the day. And I definitely, let me tell you something, man. Like, let me see. Stacey started her channel. She told me Stacey started her channel in 2023, right? And I remember because she used to pop up on what my audience used to watch, Hey, what's up, Uncle Ray? What's going on, bro? And yeah, part of my fans. Oh man, not much, man. We about to get the reaction request started for this morning. That I'm backed up on horribly. So yeah, but I've considered like open up like a Mugnify Reacts 2 channel. And that will be the channel for like donations. Like I've also thought about that too. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Cause I love my community, man. Like I love like how y'all request different music for me. And for an eclectic mind like I am, like I need a lot of I need variety. And it's unfortunate that YouTube does not reward variety too much. It doesn't reward it at all. So even as a reactor, where reactors used to be the only ones that get away with variety, now we don't. We don't get away with it at all. We got to kind of niche down a little bit. We got to be a little bit more careful. And sometimes, like I tell you guys this over the course of like lives and stuff like that for the people that's here, so you guys can kind of understand my thought process and what I'm thinking about from moment to moment. That's a long time, dude. You was subscribed when I was doing anime reactions, bro. Let me see, 2020? Yeah. Because I didn't start the music stuff until 2021. I didn't start the music reaction stuff till like 2021. So you were here for like when I was reacting to like Slam Dunk and stuff. And a little bit of the Street Fighter stuff. Like you was here when I was doing the gaming channel, Tony. When it was like sort of like a hybrid gaming channel. That's a long time, dude. And I'm surprised you don't have a mask, man. Like you're not in the members. I should have some background music. But dude, like I tell you, so so hypothetically, if I like open up another channel, what does that look like? What does that look like? I kind of have a channel kind of similar to that already, and that's called Mugs Around the World. I Mugs Around the World is going to be kind of like where I start kind of pushing some reactions that don't fit the channel. Shoot, I'm trying to retire. I'm trying to retire. I'm trying to retire at the tender age of. I hope music reactions can allow me to get out the workforce. But what I want to do because of music reactions, like, going to require a lot of support. I want this music reaction stuff to help me travel. Like, I want to be invited by bands to like, hey, look, all expense paid trip. Let's bring Mugs to our concert. That's what I want to do. We haven't got started yet. We're about 30 minutes in. I just wanted to sit down and talk to y'all for a second. I just want to show y'all I'm more than just music reacting. Like, I can talk too. But it's a lot of stuff that's happening like behind the scenes with the channel too. And it's definitely hard. It's definitely hard to kind of make choices that, because with reactors, like, we want to be liked by our fan base too. But I like the fact that I have a fan base where you guys know me well enough that I wouldn't do this without a reason. Oh yeah, Tony. I don't know. A lot of that just I don't think I'd be able to catch a lot of that stuff if I didn't have any experience recording music already. Like I said, I used to produce my own rap music back in the day, and I still do rap here and there. So like I'm able to kind of visualize a lot of things. But I've always had kind of a keen ear. Huh?
Grasshopper.
What is it?
But
Black?
it hopped on them and Pooh, you gonna hop and run.
Oh, it probably
I
just
tried
caught
to
him.
get Nezzy Pooh ain't gonna mess with me.
Is it one of them black ones? Get like I'm live.
Right there.
Mhm.
doing
Yeah. Yeah, Tony. I agree. I don't know, but even like I'm always like I think that's one of my biggest strengths and my biggest downfall as a reactor is I want to explain what I'm feeling in the moment sometimes, and sometimes I get lost in a tangent thought. That is crazy, yo. That is so crazy. Homeboy said, we got different bugs down here. Nah, for real. When I moved to Texas, bro, like, and I saw some bugs out here, I was like, yeah, these definitely ain't Florida bugs. Like, as long as I lived in Florida, the 32 years I lived in Florida, I never seen a cricket until I moved to Texas. You hear crickets, you're not supposed to see crickets. Texas crickets, they flamboyant. They gonna show themselves and still make the same sound. Now that's one thing I haven't seen a scorpion yet. I've never seen a scorpion. Let me think. Have I? I don't think I've ever seen one. I've seen snakes in Texas, big snakes actually. Luckily, they were already ran over when I found them. But yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. When the animals are comfortable with y'all good people, man. What's a Sasquatch? We not talking about Bigfoot, is you? What's a Sasquatch? I've never seen ever. No, y'all don't. You ain't never seen one, Tony. The world is weird, man. The world is real weird, man. That is so funny. That is so funny. Oh yeah, the natives. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So what? He came out the womb 5'2", Angela. Wow. What? See, where you be at to get bit by something like that? 22 and hey, he was already 2 feet tall. Hey, yo. Like, where you be at to get bit by a rattlesnake? Bro, I consider myself lucky because I have yet to see a snake big enough for me to be scared of in Texas. Oh, you in the mountains? Oh, okay. That makes sense. You know what? I've heard conspiracies about the dog man. I've watched some YouTube videos and I wondered if that was weird, if that was real. Yeah, we got copperheads in Texas too. But I've only encountered grass snakes. And they run from me. I'm like 6'2". He was climbing and out his hands in the rock, a snake form. Oh shoot. So we got other confirmed sightings. So that's definitely like you don't need to be outside in Mississippi overnight at all. You don't need to be in the forest nowhere. You don't need to be like that's just saying like you don't need to be outside at all. My thoughts exactly, Angela. But getting bit by a snake, yo, hey. The only the smallest I've encountered like a baby rattlesnake. I've encountered like a baby rattlesnake here in Texas, and that was like last year. Oh yeah. You would never see me outside that late. I wouldn't even be out on my porch. Inge, what's going on? Long time, yes. This has been I remember you. Yeah. I remember you, Inge. Been good, man. Been good. All right, so we got our little social batteries running. All right, so y'all ready to enjoy some reactions? So today we're gonna be checking out Haven, Flora Jansen, Epica, Arion, and Urban Dance Squad. Okay. And then we got some donation requests from Buy Me a Coffee to deal with. Hey, Margaret. Y'all be surprised. Y'all be very surprised, like who I remember in chat, who I'm used to seeing. Ah. I'm doing good, Margaret. Oh yeah, and I just remembered. Let me. All right, so this is for you all who want to join the Discord. We're trying to build up the Discord. If this is the Discord that is for anybody who has a little bit of issue with YouTube not sending out notifications, you get 100% notifications from the Discord. So I'm gonna give you guys the link right here, and you guys can go sign up for the Discord real quick. All right, so let's get to these reactions, man. All right, let's go. All right, you guys. So today, man, we bringing him back an esteemed artist on this channel. His name is Haven. This is called One Day. The last reaction we did was with him and Nico Novalis a few months ago. But I always like to keep a healthy dose of Haven on this channel. A little bit of symphonic music if you're into that. So I've never heard this one, but this looks like this is from the same like studio session as Keep Your Promise, and I think the last reaction that we did. So with that being said, let's go ahead and check this out. Bro, I just love hearing violins in unison. I just love it. I don't know what it is about violins that just so soothing.
I'm gonna wait in the morning to see the world through different eyes. The further I get, the closer I'll be. Every city and every sky. I'll lift the world from my shoulders, you know, and I'll see so many sights. I will taste forbidden flavors, and will dance till the sunrise. And the sun sets close, and the starlit night. I would travel for travel light. And the burden's gone, no ties left to bind. I've decided to leave you behind. Give me solitude, give me time.
Woof.
Give me all the strength to uncover a new life.
This is the kind of music that you will never hear if you depend on YouTube to give it to you. You'll never hear it because YouTube is curated to everything that you'll watch history, basically. So if you never watch this kind of music on a regular, YouTube would never recommend it to you. And that's why I like to kind of do these live streams and stuff, because now I can show that to you. But you just got to be here. All right? So make sure y'all hitting that like button too.
Give me solitude, give me time. I will find my way to let go of what's behind. I roam the earth when the sun goes down, as I travel through the night. I'll see reflection of the ghost stars, every land that passes by. Maybe I'm scared, maybe I'm lost, but I'm far enough to find that in the space that's grown between us, I'm gonna start another life. And the sun sets close, and the starlit nights, I will travel for travel light. And the burden's gone, no ties left to bind. I've decided to leave you behind. Give me solitude, Give me solitude, give me time. I will find my way to let go of what's behind.
Dude, all you hear is strings everywhere in this track, man. Just kind of like a euphoric experience, man. Like just closing your eyes and trying to put pictures to what you're hearing. Like it's like, man, what would be the perfect place for me to sit down and listen to this music for an extreme, like, added effect of the music? Like, yeah.
I will find my way to let go of what's behind. One day you will all understand it. One day you will understand. One day you will all understand it. One day. Give me solitude, give me time.
So apparently this is from an album called Symphonic Tales 2 from Haven. I like I said, bro, like I got to see this live, bro. I got to see this live, bro. Get me to Amsterdam, okay? Can we crowdfund a trip to Amsterdam so I could go watch symphonic music with Haven? Yeah, all these dates and stuff, Switzerland, Czech, Austria, Poland, Germany, Netherlands. It looks like he's going to be in the Netherlands for quite a bit in November and December. But like, bro, I got to see this live. Who coming? Who coming? I need to find a way. So I need to find a way so I can go. Like, I can't fund this trip on my own money. Dude, like, and for real, bro, like if I go, I'm getting so much footage, bro. First of all, it's my first international trip. I've never traveled outside of the United States. Then watching him, I'm gonna have to get something going. But whoever's gonna be there, it's criminal that this video only has 180,000 views. This is one of those million view type of videos. Excuse me. But, oh my goodness, bro. Thank you. Like, I'm like listening to this is just like, I just gotta be there, dude. I gotta absorb all that. And I've been to a symphony before, back when I was in college, on a humanities project. And I enjoyed it. I didn't think I would enjoy symphonies, but just sitting down and taking all the instruments live, that's one thing that I can say, like, it's a different experience from being at a hip hop or rock music concert. Like, you're really here to just digest what's happening on stage. And that's one reason I would love to travel with doing music reactions, because I want to, If I had it my way, if I had sponsorships or something like that, if I had it my way, I would use this channel to just go find very diverse music that I never heard before. But this is amazing, bro. This is amazing. This is beyond amazing. And he, like, Haven himself on YouTube only has 650K subscribers. But in my personal opinion, I feel like Haven's music doesn't reach America. So with the way YouTube is now, if you don't listen to Haven on a regular, you're not going to hear him get him on YouTube. Maybe if you listen to symphonic or classical music, you'll get Haven music somewhere down the line, just with the AI by association. But YouTube isn't going to push this music out to Americans. Oh yeah, I forgot they do those on the cruises too. I forgot they do cruise like blues music on the cruises and stuff like that. I forgot about that. But one of my biggest goals is to travel. You know what I mean? And right now, the life that I live right now won't fund that very well. But I would love to just go to a different country and feel their music. Hey yo. Oh, they do? I just hope, like, my first time on a cruise ship, like, I don't get seasick. You know how you don't know, like, being out on sea, how that's going to affect you? Like, I just hope I don't get on that boat and get sick. I'll be so mad at my body. I'll be like, nigga, when? Anyway, post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think, okay? Catch you guys at another. All right, so going on to the next song. Okay, so we got Floor Jansen, Wolf and Dog Live. Now, if you guys... All right, you guys, so we got Floor Jansen with Wolf Dog Live. Now, if you guys don't know already, I've already reacted to a bunch of different Nightwish songs, so I'm very familiar with her. So if this is your first time on the channel and discovering Floor Jansen on the channel, hey, it's a treat. Trust me. Trust your boy Muggs when he says, hey, this you gonna like this, all right? So that being said, let's go ahead and check this out.
Let's go. This will be the death of me. Silence. Peace without a battle wall. No hardships. Safety such an empty state. Suffocated by my fate. I slumber to make my blood run wide. Roam the earth to feed my mind. Hear the wolves howl louder, louder. Hear the doves cry, howling, howling.
Let me turn that off. Let me turn that off. Man, they call her the Valkyrie. They call her the Valkyrie. Hold on, let me get you that link. I didn't think that was the link you was asking for, Tony. But let me get you that link. But oh my goodness. All right. And Floor ain't a short woman. She like 6 foot, if memory serves me correct. Like that's a big woman.
Inner peace beats within. Erratic but with deep devotion, a vast range of intense emotions. Bipolar, I'm two in one. Might just satisfy, but no one romance, the silence within. Lead me away from the cold, free me. Caress the heart that beats wild. My soul's so close and so is that. Let me run free and keep the door open, for I will come
What y'all thinking out here, fellas? What y'all thinking? Hey, fellas, what we got going? What we got going, man? Hey, Renee. Selfish in its passions lust, righteous with impulsive gusts. Feed the wolf and feed the dog. The death of one's the death of both. My wolf and wolf, the silence within. Lead me away from the cold, feed me. Caress the heart that beats wild. My soul's so close and so is that. Let me run free, but keep the door open, for I will Bro, this woman could sink a whole naval. What they call them at sea? Like a whole naval. Dude, this woman could. Dude, she could be the only siren on the beach and sink a whole naval expedition, nigga. Armada, yeah. Fleet, yeah. She can sink a whole naval fleet, yo. Like, bro, Floor probably one of the best singers I've ever heard. And I tell you, this whole mix of like opera, it's like operatic. She sings in a more operatic tone, but what I'm feeling, she sings in an operatic tone. The music itself has an element of like metal, but parts of it is symphonic. So it's like, and I do feel like it's very symphonic metal as a completion, but at the same time, when I listen to her sing, I feel like there's a story being told, but I can't catch the story because I'm so impressed with the singing. And then I like symphonic music. So now I'm ingratiated into it. He ain't gonna know what I'm talking about. It's hard to hear a voice, man. If not from a quality standpoint, but it's hard to hear what's going on in this song when you got all this other stuff to listen to. Like, I'm telling you, she has there's definitely a very seductive quality to her voice, though. Yeah, Daniel. Hey, Daniel, what's going on? It's a lot of things moving outside of floor. What's up, Arthur? Dude, like, it's just so much moving stuff, man. All right, so post comments down below. Let me know what you guys think, all right? Catch you guys on another one. Peace. All right, next up, going to Epica, all right? All right, you guys, so today we're going to be checking out Epica, Beyond the Matrix, live at the Symphonic Synergy, man. So this will be the first time me hearing Epica in this fashion. Well, I've done other Epica reactions, so I ain't gonna waste your time. Let's see what's happening here, and let's get to it. I can't not hear anything. I can't hear nothing. Something's happening. A lot of buffering. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. No, it's not the YouTube police. I think my little cat princess wanted to leave the room. I don't know why this not playing. Let me see. Let me try it again. No, it's not. I'm getting a lot of buffering on my end. And I don't know where it's coming from. So I just need to close some windows real quick. Give me a second. Sometimes I got too much open. Let's see what's happening. Nah, we still buffering. All right, I guess let me try it again. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Did something happen with YouTube? Like, I can't hear anything.
Dear Prudence is one of the most beautiful songs in the entire Beatles canon. Dear Prudence.
Oh, I know what's happening. I know what's happening. Yeah, no, my audio is fine. Hmm. Hold up, give me 1 second. Device manager. I don't know. Something just happened with my audio through to my microphone. The audio works, so I have to reset it. Dang, but I forgot the desktop command to get there. What is it? Device. It's not device manager. It's device. What is it? Yeah, that's what it is. Service. Hey, what's up, Ashley? All right, Bam Cat. Bam my cat. What's going on? Windows. All right, that should help. There we go. All right. Remember services. Got to remember that services. All right, so let's get back to it. All right, you guys. So today we're gonna be checking out Epica Beyond the Matrix, live from the Symphonic Synergy. Now we've done other Epica reactions on this channel. That Epica doesn't get a lot of looks on my channel because of the audience, but I think it's well worth it. And I think by now you guys like trust your boy Muggs, okay? All right, so if you guys enjoy this content where we go all over the world, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's go ahead and check out Epica.
Party, the dak moet eraf. The roof has to go off. The dak All right, Amsterdam, the party is still on. So show me what you got.
Look. Y'all know I got to do this. Ooh, boy, that's a lot of white folks. That is a lot of, that's a lot of folk. That's a lot of folk. Y'all know me, but that's a lot of folk. Y'all everywhere, bro. Like, I remember I was reacting to Leonard Skinner live, what they did, what song was that? What they did live in Oakland. And I wanted to keep that being a running joke. So anytime I see a big old crowd of white folks, like, I just want to say, man, that's a lot of white folks. But back in the Leonard Skinner reaction I did to, what was that song? It cannot change. I can't remember the dang on title of the song. Freebird, yeah. I don't know, for some reason, like, I'm really attracted to this type of music. Like, it does something for me. It's soothing for some reason. Like this, at least this portion of it. But like this, you know, since I played a lot of video games that had a lot of this type of music in it, so I guess maybe that's the association to reason why I could digest this music. Like, it's kind of crazy, but like, when you play video games, you hear a lot of symphonic scores, especially like in Final Fantasy games, any kind of Japanese RPG, Japanese role-playing games and stuff like that. You hear a lot of that, especially games that take place like in like medieval folk times. Like, you're going to hear a lot of this type of music. So maybe that's the association that I have with it, that I can listen to it, you know? And a lot of people can't say that with, you know, it ain't a lot of exposure when it comes to like hip hop and stuff in games or anything like that, unless you play video games. But anyway, go ahead. All right, Margaret, see you later.
Live in this moment like there is no past. All that matters is
Ooh.
who you are. Be in this moment. Judgments will not last. Urge yourself again to claim back your love. Take a leap into the dark.
Bro, I ain't gonna hold you. She's singing the whole Army Fleet armor off, bro. She is singing the whole Army Fleet's armor off. Okay? Can you imagine? Y'all revved up for battle. And you see this chick at the top of the mountain singing to y'all. Boy, the armor coming straight off. It's just gonna fall off. It's gonna be armorism. I hope y'all get that reference, but
Beyond the matrix, feel what it's like to reach divinity. Aim at the sky, open your mind, then you will be balanced and free. Be the master over your own Shake off oiled feathers, leave your past behind. Use your inner force to reach out yourself. When there's no future, you can be occupied by non-essential ways and rules of the Recreate your hologram. Dare to dive and follow the point of no return. This frames us shine through the sky. Beyond the matrix, feel what it's like to reach divinity. Aim at the sky, open your mind, then you will be balanced and free. Be the master over your own
oh shoot, we in for the long haul, y'all. What is that supposed to be on the big screen? See this mess right here? Like, this is the kind of music that you hear on Game of Thrones, bro. This is the kind of music you're gonna hear on Game of Thrones when somebody is just walking into the king's castle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you hear the men in the back singing in unison, the harmonies. Like, what? Like, I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I enjoy that so much. What's up, Jorge? I know that's intentional. I know this is intentional. This look right here. I know this is intentional. Like, what is this? 2 counterclockwise rotating vortexes. Then you have a light from the bottom shining, but then there's a vortex on stage as well. Like, behind her. Like, y'all see this? That is crazy, yo. I hope everybody got portable battery chargers.
Someday you'll start to live your life.
I ain't gonna hold you. It went from like a symphonic vibe to more like a power metal, especially with the pace of the drumming and the guitar and stuff like that. But then when it jumped into, when they both started growling, I said, hey, we out of here now. Oh, wow. I would not want to be the guys that got to clean that up. I see why y'all do go skydiving. It's because of this music right here. It's because of this music. This is why, you know, when I look at dangerous activities, it's always the pale folks. Because y'all got this kind of music motivating y'all when y'all climbing mountains and being places y'all ain't supposed to be. Y'all be listening to this going through a forest y'all ain't supposed to be in. Y'all be listening to this just before y'all skydive, yo. We ain't got that kind of music. We got that kind of music. Hey, like, look, man, stay from over there. This is highly motivational. And I say that to say this. This is very highly motivational music. Like, I was thinking inside of my head, like if King Arthur had an anime, like, this is totally the intro to the King Arthur anime series. Like, sorry, I know y'all don't really like me doing the racial jokes, you know what I'm saying? Blame Richard Pryor, blame Martin, blame all the comedians that I grew up listening to. The crowd was going crazy. I ain't gonna lie, but let's talk about the song itself. The song itself, 9 minutes, a 9-minute track with so many different pockets and change ups and things. And these type of songs really do take you through a storyline. Like, it reminds me of, what's that Yes song, that 20-minute Yes song? That's what I see most of the time. let me see, what's the name of that Yes song that I ain't get a lot of views on it, but everybody else got 100,000. But everybody else got like 100,000. And but little old me only did like 5. I'm gonna go find this song real quick. I don't know why every time I close Firefox updates more than any other web browser I've ever seen. Like, I don't know, nobody asks for updates. Like, y'all got to update every time I close the browser. Let me see, where this song at? Close, yeah, yes, Close to the Edge. Yes, Close to the Edge. Wow, that actually did well. It kind of like takes you through that sometimes. And hey, what's up, Steven's Mind? I understand that, Renee. I'm just saying they don't need 45 updates because I close the freaking browser. Okay, they don't need 45 updates a month. So, like, what I'm saying is, I like songs that kind of take you through a journey. They got different pockets. They got different intense situations. Like when you reach that part where all the singers are like growling and it get real intense on the drums and you feel the power, you feel the how the music kind of rises you up out of the seat. Like I thought those are very amazing pockets of music. And just by feeling it's gonna get you hyped. It actually is motivating. Like you would listen to this type of music in the gym. I can see you like you in a race and you about to give up and you put this song on to try to push her a little bit more. Like that's what I get from this song, like emotionally. Like it's gonna make me rise up and do something about myself. So yeah. So I like that's the portion of this music that I really do connect with. And that's the portion of this music like I can like get behind, you know? But as far as like, I feel like this is really centered around the culture too. Just like any kind of MIDI folk music, anything that you hear, symphonic metal seems to be very culturally centered too. So there's a lot of nuances I don't really understand, but I did enjoy the song. Oh, shoot. So, yeah. So with that being said, yeah, I got to get this like Beyond the Matrix. Like this is amazing. So with that being said, yeah, post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about Epica on the channel. All right. Let me know if you guys want to see more Epica in the comment section down below. And I'll catch you guys at another one. All right. I knew that was the last song. You don't bring confetti down if it ain't the last song. The queue is very large, Stephen. The queue is very long. Some of these I have to do back to back just per request, but yeah, the queue is long. All right, so in this reaction, we're gonna be doing Ayreon. We've done Ayreon before. Ayreon is that group that kind of mixes symphonic metal with a little bit of progressive rock and roll. So it's like what we just heard from Epica, but Tool maybe. So today we got Ayreon with Isolation 30th anniversary. An amazing flight through time. Tommy Krevik, Tommy Kervik, Swedish front singer of Camelot. Irene Jansen, which is Floor Jensen's sister, is one of the backing vocals, and you have a bunch of other guest artists in this song. So with that being said, let's go ahead and check out Arion with Isolation.
I can move, I can't feel my body. I don't remember anything. What places?
What he said at the beginning? Let me see.
I can move, I can't feel my body.
It sound like a personal problem, sir. I'm playing.
Don't remember anything. What place is this? How did I get here? I don't understand what's happening. Am I alone?
You've been deserted.
Oh, that's Irene, because yeah, that's definitely Floor's sister right there. I can tell.
That way. Those frantic years, the people you've neglected. Now the time has come to pay. You're alone. No one here is dancing to your tune.
I wasn't expecting that change up. All right, Steven. Got good rhythm to it though.
Is this a dream or is it real? Sometimes a dream becomes reality. I don't know what to do. I will guide you through these hands. But who are you? Why are you here? I am you and you are other people. I think my mind ain't clear. Let me free you from this maze.
Bro, what this dude is wearing is so crazy to me, bro. First of all, let's look at what he got on. He looked like he got a halter top robe on, right? A black halter top robe on with straps on the side that he could tighten up. Okay, now look at him. He got a pocket. He got a vest, halter top robe shirt that you could tighten up at the waist. Then he got a shirt pocket. Who made him put that on? He said, man, what you wearing to the concert, man? I got a vest, halter top, robe pocket shirt. That's what he said. All right. What is that shirt?
corners of my mind. And so we are, we're all a part of you. Am I part of some design? Design is in your hand. How can it be? You look so real. We wish you imagine that. I can feel my heart dance on the way.
Can't you feel it burn deep down inside? Won't you ever learn? Don't try to hide. Can't you feel that fire scorching your soul? Won't it pass this out out of control? Can't believe you're giving up. That's not your way. Can't believe you're past the chance to make the grade. You've always had complete control, never thinking twice. You always call the shots, so hot as cold as ice.
It'd be like, everybody, look, listen. I got an idea. Okay, I got an idea. Let's add a flute solo. Okay.
Close your eyes and listen to your heartbeat. Surrender to its soothing pulse. Silence the cries, gentle and carefree. Good or bad, true or false.
Got a dark fairy godmother up there.
You'll find me here when everything was you. I am the strongest of them all. No need to fear these feelings that enclose you. I'm here to catch you when you fall. Not alone. I am here dancing to your tune.
I don't even hold you. That sounds like aliens is trying to get the message through.
Can't you feel it burn deep down inside? Won't you ever learn?
Wow.
Don't try to hide. Can't you feel the fire scorching your soul? Won't it pass this out of control?
I know this is supposed to be epic, but I wish I knew who everybody was on stage. Homeboy do look like Robert Plant dressed in a Joker outfit. I ain't gonna even hold you.
Believe you're giving up. That's not your way. I can't believe you passed the chance to make them pay. You always had complete control. Never thinking twice. You always got the shots. Hot as cold as ice.
Dude, is that dude like 7'5", bro? That dude is huge. That's a very tall man. That's a very tall man. All right. I ain't gonna lie. This sounded epic, right? This sounded epic. My issue is that I didn't really connect well with it. Like it just, to me, it sounded like the last two songs we just listened to. Because I don't know who's on stage, I think there's less of a disconnect naturally. But as far as the overall performance, I felt like this was something epic. No pun intended on epic. But got all these famous people up here, famous singers who really contributed a lot. And I don't know, for some reason, it made me feel like I'm watching the Kennedy Space Honors or something. And it's good. Like I said, it's good, it's motivational, but at the same time, it's kind of like, oh, okay. Now, if this is like artists I'm more familiar with, then it'd probably be like more epic, you know? But this is like, it's cool. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. So with that being said, if you guys like this, if you guys like Arion, let me know in the comment section, and if you guys want to see more Arion on the channel. Shout out to the subscriber who requested these as well. And we'll catch you guys at another one. All right. Peace. Yeah, it was definitely like a rock opera type of feeling. But like I said, I tend to sometimes have a limit when it comes to rock music, as far as like how much I can digest into, like, because sometimes like when I listen to a lot of the same music, it starts getting bland to me, and I need a little bit of a change up. So we had already heard Floor, and we listened to Epica, and those was very good performances, right? Those were very good performances. So when I listened to this one, it was cool, but I feel like it wasn't better than the previous ones. And that's, maybe I should have mentioned that in the reaction too, but it was all right. It was all right to me. It was all right. Like for me, I would have liked to hear a little bit more progressive rock and roll, a little bit more change up rhythm wise. It just, for me, it was just kind of like a little monotone, you know, as far as like the rhythm is concerned. So yeah. All right, so this will be something interesting that I've never put on the channel or have ever reacted to, right? So today we're going to be listening to Urban Dance Squad, No Honesty, live on the 2 Meter sessions. Okay, so UDS is a Dutch hip hop funk rock band, and this video was recorded a little bit over 30 years ago. So what I'm most curious about is, did the 90s aesthetic translate worldwide? That's what I'm most interested with this one. So let's go ahead and check it out. Okay. I ain't gonna hold you. This is giving me King's X, maybe? King's X. King's X, a little bit of Run DMC. Cypress Hill as far as the rappers is concerned. So this is kind of interesting.
These are the words, but they don't make contact. These are the words. These are the words, but they don't make contact. These are the words. These are the words, but they don't make contact. Wanna teach, but you can't even
Yeah,
read.
Beast Boys. Yeah, I agree with that.
Allow some teeth to keep with the bees. Buddy up. Stupid. All the speech separates what I need. Say it. Stupid. Why can't I meet you along the way lead? So what is this? Stupid. These are the words, but they don't make contact. These are the words. These are the words, but they don't make contact. These are the words. These are the words, but they don't make contact. These are the words. These are the words, but they don't make contact. Contact, contact, some contact, submit, contact, contact for all the stupid.
I don't know, man. Dude with the dreads kind of giving me Hendrix energy. I ain't gonna lie. His voice, I'm seeing Hendrix with this guy. I'm seeing Hendrix, and I feel like the song is growing on me a little bit. But I want to hear more rapping. Okay, I want to hear a little bit more rapping.
Contact, some contact, submit, contact, contact for all the stupid. Explain this to your fellow men. What are you? Stupid. Hit by the poisonous pen. What are you? Stupid. Actions be louder than words before that. Stupid. Say the words while you wanna be heard. What are you? Stupid. Stupid. These are the words, but they don't make contact. These are the words. These are the words, but they don't make contact. These are the words. I said these are the words, but they don't make contact.
Interesting. Interesting. This is what I'm gonna do. Urban Dance Squad, No Honesty. All right, let's see something. I just want to see something. I want to see how this. I want to hear the original. I want to hear this.
Don't worry when you get food fed. What are you, stupid? Believe everything inside your head. What are you, stupid?
That sounds 1,000% better. That sounded 1,000% better. I mean, it's a studio recording, but that sounds 1,000% better.
Believe everything inside your head. What are you, stupid? Stick to the way you're born and bred. Hey, what are you, stupid? A bond is a drag in the end. Yeah, you're stupid. Stupid. These are the words, but they don't make contact. These are the words. These are the words, but they don't make contact. These are the words. These are the words, but they don't make contact.
voice reminds me of somebody. But I can't pinpoint where that voice is. Because there's a lot of people who have that. They kind of take a more like a little squeaky like delivery and stuff like that. There's a lot of rappers that do that, but I can't necessarily pinpoint who does that right now. I do like how do I want to say grunge? Like there's a mix of like, this reminds me a little bit of who are the guys called? Not Chili Peppers, but with Mike Patton and them. Freak. No, what was it? What was their group name? Mike Patton, No Life, something. I remember the lead's name because he had beef with the guy from Chili Peppers. Rage Against the Machine? I don't know.
Why can't I meet you along the way, leech? Or is this stupid? Stupid, stupid. These are the words, but it don't make contact. These are the words. These are the words, but it don't make contact. These are the words. These are the words, but it don't make contact. These are the words. These are the words, but it don't make contact. Contact. Stupid contact. Contact. Stupid, stupid. Contact. Contact. Stupid.
You sure? Really? The dude from Rage? I don't know. Hold up.
Eating chocolate hits like they like, oh, well, get the fuck out the commode with the short shot.
I can hear it. Yeah, you right. Y'all right. Y'all right. I can hear it. I can hear it. I wonder if. Yeah, I can hear it. Y'all right. Hey, it don't take me long to concede. Here's what I want to say. I think I enjoyed the studio version more than the live. I didn't think the live performance was very good as far as sound wise, but when I listen to the music, it does kind of take me back a little bit to the 90s with, you know, with how they arranged the live performance. But it seems like, and I got to give a shout out to the crowd, but they said they sound like Rage. And I wonder if like sometimes did Rage kind of pull from, I wonder if Rage really, did they somehow pull from this band, Urban Dance Squad? Because I do hear a similar sound. But to me, I think Urban Dance Squad had a little bit more rhythm going. And it kind of reminded me of King's X, Dogma, rhythm-wise a little bit. Like King's X, Dogma, Cult of, and who did Cult of Personality? Living Color. It kind of, to me, when you bring black, and this doesn't happen a lot, but when you bring black people into rock music, there seems to be more on the rhythm side of rock music. Like it's very hyper focused on, this is just my experience, right? I could be totally wrong, but like whenever you meld rap and rock music together, there's clear differences in the sound. But when I listen to King's X and Living Color, there seems to they tend to bend on the more of the rhythm side, rhythm and blues part of rock and music. Yeah, versus the latter, I would say. So it's like sound wise, there's a stark difference. But you know, y'all can crucify me for that if y'all want to, but yeah. But anyway, did I like the song? It was cool. It was cool. I think, but I want to do more research on them. Yeah, the funk part. Yeah. They seem to be like it's more funk centered rock and roll. Because that's why I said the guy in Urban Dance, he kind of reminded me of Hendrix a little bit with what I was hearing. Like I could definitely see that he grabbed something from Hendrix. But yeah, like I liked it. I liked it. I would give it like a cool 7. But the whole entire 5 for 50 playlist that this subscriber gave us, I would kind of give it like a cool like 8. Good diverse playlist. I thought starting out with Haven was very strong. But then when we moved into the symphonic part, for me it wasn't enough variety because symphonic, unfortunately, it could get plain sometimes. It could get plain sometimes. But I love listening to Floor. I love like the part about symphonic metal that I love the most is the singing. I think the singing, the stories, the process in which the music kind of takes us through. That's what I love the most about symphonic metal. And the change up at the end with urban dance, like I liked it. It's a good playlist. It's a good playlist. So shout out to the subscriber who requested that one. And with that being said, let me know how you guys feel in the comment section down below. All right. Peace. Okay. So we finished that playlist and we got another one to do. This one is a little bit longer. So this playlist is coming from Daniel, my boy Daniel Bildo. Okay. Is it bed? Doom, 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 doom. Shoot. Well, we got a long one. We got a long one. Coming from Daniel. And then we got a 3 for 30 after that. That we got to hit. And then so this one is coming from Daniel. This is, and I'm wondering if I should do separate videos for this or do this all together. But knowing like how I know Daniel's gonna make this a whole show. I know Daniel. Daniel loves like leading us like through the storyline of this track. So we're gonna be listening to the Beatles. I gotta check something real quick. Gotta check something. I gotta check something real quick with Daniel. So. Let me see. I got to see something about this to see if. Let me see. Heaven. Just trying to get these next 3 reactions in order. So give me a minute. Okay.
Hey guys, welcome.
All right. Hold on. Okay. All right. Now this. All right. All right. So let's go. Let's see what's happening. So this next part of the program gonna be centered around the Beatles. Um, let me go on mute real quick.
Y'all really bigged up that little shit he did on Hector? All right. Mickey.
I really can't believe that they doubting the speech. The real captain lapping you. Why would a falcon compete? Cradles on Olympus, nigga, climb up the mountain and see. I'm in this account for the weak. Hands in his pockets like El Hajj Malik before he sadly was shot in the cheek. Nigga, I'm from the X like Malcolm but Pete. I never said you couldn't rap. These bullet points push him back. Turn verb to an album release. Found in a creek, drowning in sleep. Cops find his body and teeth separated like the 60s when they had fountains to drink. Whites only. They needed a fine tooth comb to find homie. I brush it off like it's lights on me. I'm quite holy. Your life phony as a white pony with the horn in front. Chuck Norris punch. Fuck his organs up. Intestines, large, small, all of them. Liver, spleen, pancreas. Deliver these sages with bitter leaves. Burned at 1,000,000 degrees Celsius. Who said he was cold? Nigga, please. I'm more like Mr. Freeze at Anchorage. Listen, we basing this on the blood he sees on his little sleeve handkerchief. I'm all in his fake face, ignoring his safe space. I saw all the brave hate and all of his gay traits. Shout the true foe, I gave a skull a display case. Save you was dope, but ain't no scoring in game 8. I'm pouring his spray paint all up in A face. I'm 10 in your road, that's a foreign exchange rate. We're two different guys, and you in the bind. You looking in a true villain's eyes. A few million lives on the line. Thanos and Dr. Doom just combined. Headshot, dude to survive with Bruce Willis, mind Roberta Flack. Music is by his bedside. The doctor's room is a vibe. You'll get supplied with tubes in your side. Like, share, comment. You've been subscribed to gloom in the sky. The moon drifting by. Feed you chicken, 2 legs and thighs. I need to see the finger waves, gold caps. Bring the pain or you gon' need a grave cause your soul trapped. What you contemplating for? I'm 3 tracks in. Contra made a mold. The target haters shown for constipating flows. Took 50 days to drop. If I ain't start to make it known, it would've been more numbers than a confirmation code. Yeah. You Gemini bitch, this shit this guy spit is really not sick. Plague days equal to 7, not 6. They think it's Mike Vick. What you say, you bring me nonsense, you bring in John Wick. Candlelight vigil, nigga. Now look, they bringin' John Wicks. I see the time tick and thumb down with the stone on the finger I pick. You talk about women, but think about dick. A king around myths who reading out glyphs. I speak it out and really see the light shift. A faded favorite, your favorite faded. This is Jason Statham versus Jason Tatum. Based the way I say it on created phrases. Don't matter which craft I use, like I stay in sailor, breaking stages. Toe gone, just like the haze you blaze and smoke on until the day is wasted. Grand Theft Auto death screen. This ain't the Matrix. I see you chasing agents, begging for the bank payments. That's how you making statements.
All right. All right, let's get these reactions in order. All right. So on this part of the program, we won't be focused around the Beatles. So we're going to be reacting to Dear Prudence. And apparently there's something going on with the history of who played the drums in this song. And then we're going to find evidence around what's going on in this song. Okay. And bruh, I haven't. Oh, let me start over. Now, I haven't seen a missing milk carton thing since like the early 90s. I think they stopped doing that. They stopped doing that years ago with the missing on the milk carton. All right, you guys. So in this portion of the program, we got the Beatles. So we're going to be listening, reacting to Dear Prudence. And then we're going to be reacting from another documentary type of track where they discuss like who played the drums in this song. And then we're going to provide with more evidence of who actually may have played the drums in this song. So we're going to be this is going to be kind of part of a deep dive portion of the live that we're going to be doing. And I'm going to try to fit this all into one reaction. But okay, so let's listen to the Beatles, Dear Prudence, and see what's going on, all right? Now, since I know all this, I'm probably gonna be like listening for that drum kit that they're talking about. It's from the White Album, I assume.
Won't you come out to play?
I wonder how many times they stack the vocals in this track, because what I'm listening to is, it feels like about 2 or 3 vocal stacks on top of this. And then the song itself just sounds a little eerie. Prudence, who come out to play? I guess. This song sounds very discombobulated a little bit. This don't sound like a typical like Beatles track. I wonder if they were like experimenting a little bit on this one, because there's a lot going on sound-wise inside of this track. It sounds a little disjointed to me. But maybe I'm not listening to the lyrics correctly. All right, so somebody in the comments said that Prudence was a real person on the Beatles' trip to India. She was in a very deep meditative state at the time with guidance from the Maharishi. Okay, Maharishi? Sounds like Maharaga. Anyway, so I'm listening to the song and then I'm thinking about what I said earlier about it being experimental, because it just doesn't sound like what I've heard already from the Beatles. And then in the comments, my boy Ethan, what's up, Ethan? He said that the entire album was definitely experimental, much different from pre-India post-psych recordings. Okay. Then we got Daniel, who said Prudence Farrow, Mia Farrow's sister, on a meditation retreat with the Beatles in India in 1968, where the song was written. So what they're saying, "Dear Prudence, will you come out to play?" I guess they're trying to get her out of meditative state, but let's I'm want to listen to this lyrics real quick. So. Said, "Dear Prudence, greet the brand new day." Yeah. Well, I wonder if she was in a deep meditative state and they couldn't wake her up. That, for me, I think that's what I'm getting. I could be totally wrong though. Dear Prudence, will you come out to play? Yeah, dear Prudence, won't you open up your eyes? Yeah. So I guess they're probably watching her in a deep meditative state, and maybe she was gone under a little bit too long. So, dear Prudence, will you come out to play? Sounds like a metaphor for wake up. It's a good day outside. Dear Prudence, will you open up your eyes? Yeah. That's what I'm feeling. I think I might have been on the right track with that. Thank you, Ethan, Daniel, and Daniel for the context. Definitely appreciate that. So what do you guys think about that? We heard the song. I thought the drum patterns were very not like Ringo. Listening to him. So the bigger question here is whether did Ringo play the drums in this track? Is there any mystery or any truth behind the fact that maybe he did, maybe he didn't? Well, we're going to be investigating that in the next reaction. So with that being said, catch you guys at another one. Peace. Machine.
Dear Prudence is one of the...
Okay. All right. Okay, piggybacking on our last reaction to Dear Prudence from the Beatles, we're going to be joining us today is going to be You Can't Unhear This. Actually, let's erase that. Let's erase that. I don't like that intro. So that being said, we just gonna jump into it, man. We just gonna jump into it. Let's see.
Dear Prudence is one of the most beautiful songs in the entire Beatles canon.
And this is coming from You Can't Unhear This YouTube channel. So shout out to them for this information. Also, this is titled A Drum Mystery in the Beatles' Most Beautiful Song. So,
Dear Prudence.
Within the song's many captivating layers, however, is an odd anomaly that has been a source of dispute for decades among Beatle fans. In this episode, I'm going to explore that anomaly and explain why the song's special quality may be due to what's missing. As a fair warning, once I point it out, you can't unhear this. Dear Prudence appears as the second song on the Beatles' self-titled 1968 masterpiece, known as the White Album. Composed by John Lennon during the band's
Hey, yo, that album was so yellow, my nigga. That album was so yellow.
1968 visit to India. The song was written for a very specific Prudence. Mia Farrow's
Hey, John Lennon had the Wolverine beard on point.
India. The song was written for a very specific Prudence. Mia Farrow's sister, who had joined the group on their spiritual excursion, but had, in John's view at least, become a bit too entranced by meditation. And so he composed a musical plea for her to come out and play. Although written during the India trip, the song was first recorded on a set of tapes known as the Esher demos, named after the location of George Harrison's estate, where the group had convened in May 1968 to collect some of their new song ideas following the India trip. This acoustic demo, much like the final song, centers around a finger-picking style that John picked up from fellow musician Donovan, another guest on the infamous India jaunt.
All right, and let's get one thing twisted, bro. It wasn't just like meditation going on in there, bro. Like they wasn't just. It was. I had to be some induced meditation going on in there, man. I'm telling you.
The version we know today, however, was recorded 3 months later in August 1968 during the official sessions for what would become the White Album. But there's a couple of anomalies that make this recording rather special. Firstly, it wasn't recorded at EMI Studios, the usual home where the Beatles had developed and recorded the vast majority of their songs. Instead, the group moved over to Trident Studios, a spot in Soho where the Beatles had recently recorded their landmark single, Hey Jude. Trident...
Oh, that was George? Oh, my bad. They all look the same sometimes.
Offered one main alluring advantage over EMI, a then state-of-the-art 8-track recorder, which would allow the group to more easily add layers such as instruments, vocals, or sound effects.
Ah, man. And we can do that just by a click of a button. Look at all that analog technology, yo.
EMI Studios, meanwhile, was still using 4-track equipment, practically the same setup the band had worked with for almost 5 years. Not coincidentally, an 8-track recorder would very soon appear at EMI, thanks to, of course, the insistence of the Beatles. In addition to being in a different venue, the other major anomaly that week was that the Beatles weren't the Fab Four, but only the Fab Three. On August 22nd, during a recording session for Back in the USSR, Ringo Starr stormed out of EMI Studios, allegedly after receiving one too many instructions from Paul about how he wanted a drum part to be played. The incident wasn't isolated. It was the breaking point following an increasingly tense and disjointed atmosphere during recent sessions. Frustrated and exhausted, Ringo fled to the Mediterranean with his family for some much-needed rest and recuperation. Meanwhile, the other 3 Beatles simply continued on without him.
He said, F Paul. He said, F Paul, man, I'm going to a different beach. Ringo said, bump you, bro. Hey, bro. And then now the rest of them like, hey, yo, where our drummer at, man?
With Paul stepping in on drums during the remainder of the sessions for Back in the USSR. They finished the song the next day, Ringo still absent. Almost a week later, on August 28th, with no sign of Ringo's return, John, Paul, and George reassembled, this time at Trident Studios, to continue working on material for the new album. The trio spent 3 days laboring over John's new track, Dear Prudence. On the 28th, they recorded a suitable backing track led by John's finger-picked guitar. George Harrison contributed a second guitar, and, in Ringo's absence, Paul added some drums, just as he had done a week earlier on Back in the USSR. The next day, August 29th, the group gathered again to overdub a plethora of new parts, including John's haunting double-tracked lead vocal,
The sun is up,
The sky is blue, it's beautiful, and so are you, dear Prudence.
You can hear small differences in tonality in the support vocals, but yeah, he definitely hit it in the sync.
The mesmerizing harmony vocals,
Round, 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 round.
some Indian-inspired flourishes on electric guitar, and Paul's treble-cranked bass guitar, which was the focal point
That's a
of
good
an
bass.
illuminating segment in the McCartney 3-2-1 miniseries.
You know, we use a pick, then you get that very treble end.
Making full use of their 8-track setup at Trident, they continued to add in even more parts, such as tambourine and hand claps, contributed by Beatle roadie Mal Evans, Paul's cousin John McCartney, and Apple recording artist Jackie Lomax. Left out of the final version was a very well-deserved round of applause. There's even a funny quirk
I say you should have kept it. Y'all should have kept it.
hidden within the isolated bass track. Finally, on Friday, August 30th, they finished off the song in a final evening session at Trident, with some last-minute touches from Paul on piano, and perhaps most oddly, a flugelhorn. With that, the densely layered recording of Dear Prudence was complete. After the weekend, the band would meet again, this time back at their home EMI, to move on to a new song,
1, 2, 3, 4.
While My Guitar Gently Weeps, which marked the official return of Ringo Starr back into the Beatles. Or was it? Let's listen very carefully to the drum part on Dear Prudence. You'll notice that there are two very distinct sections. From the beginning of the song until around the 2-minute 45-second mark, the drum part is fairly straightforward. Then, at around 2 minutes 45 seconds, it suddenly takes on an entirely different quality in a psychedelic explosion of wild fills, triplets, and more.
Yeah, that was that disjointed portion that I was listening to, and I was like, man, that don't sound right.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Listen to the isolated vocal track. You can hear that there was originally a different, simpler drum part in this latter section, likely recorded during the backing track and spilling over here into the other microphones.
Oh, won't you come out to play? Dear Prudence, greet the brand new day.
Because the drums in the final version of this section are different, we can safely assume that they were added later on.
Yeah, that's clear.
Even more interestingly, the sound of the drum kit changes halfway through this latter section. Listen to the isolated drum track. Pay attention in particular to the snare drum. This switch seems to indicate that not only was this latter part overdubbed, it may have been recorded in multiple segments and stitched together.
Yeah. Now, I can't hear the stitched together part. I cannot hear that. The thing is, my perspective only comes from a more digital. So stitching something together with more analog equipment is so foreign to me, and I don't even know personally where you would start and how you would do that.
And here's where the debate comes in. Some fans argue that this wilder, overdubbed part is in fact played by Ringo, not by Paul. The proponents of the Ringo theory claim that this end section wasn't something that Paul could have played. They point to other examples in the Beatle catalog that bear a striking resemblance to Ringo's style, such as the end section of Strawberry Fields Forever, or the fills on Rain, or Blue Jay Way. There are different explanations proposed for how and why this might have happened. Some suggest that Ringo had already come back from his Mediterranean excursion by the end of the Trident sessions, dropping by surreptitiously to add some of his own flair to the track. Others claim that Ringo's part could have been added at some other point before the track was mixed at EMI Studios a few weeks later on October 13th. This debate among fans is not new either. I found conversations online as far back as the late 90s discussing this. The theory appears again and again on Beatle message boards, Reddit posts, and YouTube comments.
Now, with that last bit of the song, yeah. If Paul just kept it real simple throughout the song and then Ringo came in later and added in his feels, this is not a debate. Then Ringo did it, but I can't imagine Paul playing such a complicated section of the song.
In 2018, Dear Prudence was remixed for the White Album Deluxe Edition by Giles Martin. Also included on the box set was a new stripped-down mix that featured only the drum track and John's vocals and rhythm guitar. It's neat to hear this simplified version, but because it's only a remix of the existing tracks, it doesn't definitively give us an answer either way as to who's playing the drums. Ultimately, the various explanations for the Ringo theory simply don't have any evidence to support them. If Ringo had shown up at the Trident sessions after his Greek vacation, there probably would be some record of this momentous return, either in recollections or documentation. And there's no evidence that the 8-track tape received any further instrumental overdubs after it left Trident. As for the claim that Paul wasn't capable of playing this part, that premise is easily...
I ain't gonna even hold you. I just said that, bro. That's on me, bro. That's on me. I just said that. I just like, hey, yo, I can't even picture Paul playing this. And then he goes ahead to mention it.
Challenge too with some clear counterexamples. In addition to his drum contributions on Back in the USSR, Martha My Dear, and the Ballad of John and Yoko, Paul also has a long and respectable list of drum credits following his Beatle days, including on his first solo album, McCartney, and throughout the Wings album, Band on the Run. Other musicians have even invited him to play on their own songs, such as on Steve Miller's My Dark Hour, and more recently on the Foo Fighters' Sunday Rain.
Wow, really?
So Paul certainly could have pulled this off in 1968. Especially using Trident's 8-track recorder to help add and substitute parts. If you thought Dear Prudence featured Ringo on drums, you're certainly not alone. I also used to assume this was the case. After all, it has all the hallmarks of Ringo's style, which no doubt served as an inspiration for Paul's approach here. Funnily enough, even the Beatles' rock band shows Ringo on the drum set. What do you think? Is this Paul? Or is it really Ringo? Let me know in the comments. As with many of these debates, the truth isn't nearly as interesting to me as the debate itself. Despite having individual talents and personalities, they were able to emulate each other's styles and create a cohesive sound.
You know, though, I was just about to think about that because they spend so much time with each other. You would be able to grasp how someone plays the drums just by looking at them and listening. And I figured that maybe that's what Paul did. He finally kind of understood the assignment in such a way to where he could mimic Ringo's style on the drums. And I'm pretty sure it goes the same way for a lot of them.
Thanks to this, Dear Prudence still has an unquestionably Beatle vibe, even if it doesn't
sound like the
Beatles
to me. It didn't sound like the Beatles to me.
As for the song itself, there is some ineffable quality about Dear Prudence that has hooked me ever since I first heard it. Everything in the song simply works, as it slowly builds from a gentle, delicate lullaby, adding layers along the way until that transcendent climax, all in less than 4 minutes. I even love its ironic placement on the White Album, coming right off the rocking, tongue-in-cheek opener Back in the USSR, dropping us from 30,000 feet into this incredibly different tone and mood. If the White Album was about subverting expectations, it's hard to imagine a more fitting two-song sequence to have kicked it off, or to have wrapped it up, with the two last songs on the album, Revolution 9 and Good Night, also curiously missing Ringo's drumming.
Wow.
Maybe a nod to his brief absence during the sessions, or just a funny coincidence. Even on its own, Dear Prudence is a widely beloved masterpiece, regularly covered by other artists, and often ranked high on Beatle fan lists. And even though it wasn't a hit single or a song that regularly gets airplay,
Right.
it holds a very special place in the hearts of many Beatles fans, this one included. As always, please subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for listening.
Okay. So what are you guys thinking about that one? What are you guys thinking about this whole arrangement when it comes to the Beatles and Paul not necessarily playing this one? Story time with Muggs. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. Yeah, but when I think about everything, it does make sense that Paul could play this. So this might not be such a mystery. But if Paul is able to mimic Ringo, then it makes complete sense. But did Ringo come back early, and then lay something down later? So we'll see that on this next one. Yeah, we know you don't care. Now, this is a little bit longer. This is a collaboration between You Can't Unhear This, You Cannot Hear This, and Beatles Reconstructed. So let's just go ahead and play it.
Welcome to our respective platforms here. My name is Michael Sokol of the channel Beatles Reconstructed. I am joined by an expert panel of Dear Prudence scholars. We have Ray Schillinger of the You Can't Unhear This YouTube channel. Hello, Ray. We also have Obadiah Jones of the incredible podcast Gimme Some Truth. Hello, Obadiah. So today, we may blow some minds. Through the work of Raymond, Obadiah, a little bit by me, we've contacted sources, contacted Beatles experts, and we've gotten a lot of new information and a few breakthroughs about who was playing drums on Dear Prudence. We have new diary entries from Mal Evans. We have new isolations from the sessions that will blow some minds. And perhaps most incredibly, Obadiah has tracked down the Beatles fan, the Apple Scruff, who was outside Trident Studios, taking pictures of the Beatles entering and leaving the sessions. And she sent us more photos. So guys, this is not one you're going to want to miss. To enter the debate, I think the first kind of bedrock question is, was Ringo in town during the Dear Prudence sessions, or was he not in town? And the beginning of the story is when Ringo quit the group. Now, guys, do we have a firm grasp of when Ringo quit the group and why?
Yes, we do. I think, Ray, you found probably the earliest example I've seen of this, of Ringo telling this story to Elliot Mintz in 76, 77, where he quits the band, he goes on holiday to Sardinia, writes Octopus's Garden, comes back, and things are improved, the flowers that we'll get into. But for me, this is kind of where my whole podcast began, because it's discoveries like this that led me to believe that I had enough new information to share that I wanted to start my podcast. I have some specific pieces of evidence that show that Ringo's holiday was in October and not in August. And it was actually right at the end of the sessions. And these are things that I just saw through auctions. One benefit of living in London is that I have Sotheby's and Bonhams and other auction houses right here, and I can just go and actually see the physical items. And so in 2019, I went to Sotheby's, and they had Ringo and Maureen Starkey's chauffeur, Alan Herring's collection.
But, and I'll tell you this, Daniel, I can't tell when somebody's playing with either hand. You're like, drumming sounds like drumming to me. But for the drumming geeks and stuff like that, they could probably tell just on listen. Yeah, yeah.
And one of the items in there was this postcard that Maureen had written to Alan Herring from Sardinia saying, it's great. And this is stamped the 19th of October, 1968. Similarly, there was a telegram that Peter Sellers sent 2 days later, 21st of October, that went up for auction, the Liverpool Beatles auction in 2011. And when you start piecing together all these things, suddenly the story that this happened in the middle of the White Album sessions just kind of falls apart, because it clearly didn't, you know. The last piece of evidence, which is in the Beatles Book Monthly, November 1968 issue.
I don't think I've ever seen a physical copy of that, by the way.
They're small. No, they're actually much smaller than you would think. Yeah,
I thought it was like a big magazine. Well, I only see the digital scans. That's cool.
One of my COVID lockdown projects was to get a complete set of these. So
wow,
nice.
Yeah, they're super tiny.
Yeah, right here on the last page, you know, there's a little blurb. Beatles news: Ringo and Maureen went to Sardinia, family holiday, 14th of October.
So we do think Ringo actually did quit the Beatles around August 21st or 22nd. And we've gone back and forth on this a little bit. I guess we have two kind of conflicting stories, and we can discuss them now. Barry Miles, in his Many Years From Now biography of Paul, says that on the 22nd, there was this type of argument or discussion about the Back in the USSR drumming. Paul ticked Ringo off over a fluffed tom-tom fill. They had already argued about how the drum part should be played. Ringo was unhappy with the atmosphere in the studio. He did not like Yoko being there, and Paul's criticisms brought the matter to a head, announcing that he couldn't...
Didn't we react to this? That part? What video was that?
Discuss them now. Barry Miles, in his Many Years From Now biography of Paul, says that on the 22nd, there was this type of argument or discussion about the Back in the USSR drumming. Paul ticked Ringo off over a fluffed tom-tom fill.
Oh, okay. But why do I feel like I've heard that sentence somewhere? I felt like I've heard that Ringo quitting part. Daniel, let me know.
They had already argued about how the drum part should be played. Ringo was unhappy with the atmosphere in the studio. He did not like Yoko being there, and Paul's criticisms brought the matter to a head. Announcing that he couldn't take it anymore, Ringo quit the group. But now, I think one of us has spoken to Ken Womack this week and has a slightly different vignette to speak about.
Yeah, I did contact Ken about it, and he noted that Ringo actually left because he had been waiting around for the others to show up for a session. I think it was on the 21st. And I think he had been fed up because this had happened again and again, where the others were just kind of neglecting to show up on time, and Ringo just sits around, and that he sort of quit out of protest. Probably a bigger issue, too, was just the general nature of the sessions being kind of disconnected. He didn't feel really as tight in the band, but that's Ken's take on it, that it wasn't actually during the session playing something that set him off, but rather that he was waiting around for the others to show up.
I mean, the band is already kind of disconjointed, and you could kind of see how things would like kind of ripple into each other. So yeah, all right.
Now, quick question for you guys. Ringo does have the story he tells all the time, including the anthology, about knocking on everyone's doors and saying, I don't feel like I'm part of the band, and they all say, I thought it was you three.
I'm leaving the group because, you know, I feel like, you know, unloved and out of it, and I'm not playing well, and you three are really close. And he said, I thought it was you three.
Now, do you think this is related to quitting the Beatles here, or is that maybe connected to the October trip?
I felt two things. I felt I wasn't playing great, and the other three were really happy, and I was an outsider.
He has really big ears, yo.
Criticizing Ringo's drumming, and that's what caused him to quit. I think the source of that is Barry Miles' biography, because he very specifically says it was a tom-tom fill or something like that that was the reason that he snapped. Where I think Ken Womack is getting that leaving because he was waiting around from is actually a quote from Ron Richards, which was in Mark Lewisohn's recording sessions book. And Ron Richards, who was also around the studios a lot, said that he often saw Ringo kind of waiting around for the others to show up or killing time while they were doing overdubs or something like that. And he was kind of getting fed up with just, you know, not having a lot to do. To me, that the knocking on the doors could be connected to that. There's also another piece of the story, which is that on the 21st of August, George returned from Greece. He had been away just for the weekend to where Paddy was with some friends. He and Mal had gone to Greece and arrived back on the 21st. And the session either started late or ran really late because George was late in arriving. And so that could be connected to Ringo, being annoyed, or the others showing up later than he expected them to, or something like that.
I don't think I've ever heard from a Beatle the story that, Paul was telling Ringo what to play and Ringo stormed out. Like, they have either put the PR version out about feeling disconnected or just haven't mentioned it.
Yeah, Ringo did leave. I can't remember exactly why. I just remember he was suddenly one day, I think, Neil or somebody said, "Oh, Ringo's gone on holiday,"
and he felt insecure, so we had to, and he left. So we had to kind of go and sort of say, "No, you're great, man. You're the best."
But I think we can all agree Ringo did indeed quit the Beatles on the 21st or the 22nd and left. Now the debate next is, where did he go?
I actually, when my original episodes came out, I had emailed Mark Lewison to invite him to be a guest, and he declined for time restraints at the time, but he replied to say that he'd listened to that first episode about Ringo going to Sardinia and that he agreed with it. And he said, actually, I just had a 1972 interview with Ringo on my desk the other day that isn't published, but he said, I quit, I went and spent a week in my garden, and then I came back.
What was the 1981 quote from the book Shout, Philip Norman, where he says Ringo spent a week at home. So that kind of aligns with that too.
This is kind of not, sort of difficult to parse in evidence, but it's also a really big week for them. And I find it hard to believe he would leave the country for it. They're about to launch Apple, basically, right? Isn't that like the following week? It's kind of a huge moment. So this is sort of more of a jump in belief here, but it just seems more like Ringo would just chill at home than say, I'm going to leave, be out of the country when we have all these obligations for press and stuff coming up. That, again, it's just my take on it, but I would go with your find, Obadiah, that he's just hanging out at home and taking it easy.
So I think this is where the new evidence starts to kick in. August 27th, the day before the first Dear Prudence session. Obadiah, where is Ringo?
Well, this I first saw this in the A is for Apple series of books, which are just an excellent dump of a bunch of research that Axel Corrent and Ed Dykman did. There's 4 volumes, and I've now
covers,
since seen the EMI documentation.
But them old school covers is killing me, boy.
Actually for this, but EMI kept note cards for every artist that was under the label, and every session they did was printed on this note card. And so in addition to the actual session documentation for specific sessions, there is a catalog of these note cards with a date and the songs that were worked on. And I've since seen the one for the 27th of August. It's not in my possession, otherwise I would have shared it with you. But it says 27th of August at EMI, George was producing a session for Jackie Lomax for the song You've Got Me Thinking.
You sure don't have a lot, but you use what you got, and you got me thinking.
In the Get Back sessions in January, they actually played this song, a little snippet of it, with Paul singing the lead and doing a kind of a funny Jackie Lomax impression. And Ringo's right there playing the same part. He knows it.
Great transition to some of our new evidence here. We have connected with Ken Womack. Ken Womack is the guardian of the Mal Evans diaries, and we do have new information from Mal's diaries about the 27th.
I think we coincidentally talked to Ken on the same day about this, so kind of funny universal cosmic thing going on. But I emailed Ken, whose book I think I actually have right over here, believe it or not.
Hey.
Who has access to Mal's diaries, which I think, for years have been kind of under lock and key with his family estate, and just recently he's gotten into them and wrote this volume. There's a lot more to come from what I hear. Obviously a trove of information, because Mal recorded virtually everything and every day, or at least details about every day. So I figured, well, let me ask and see if he wrote anything on the days of these sessions for Dear Prudence. And sure enough, Mal did write that on the 27th, he was with Ringo, and that they were, working into the night. So we know they were together on the 27th at EMI, to be clear.
Right.
And then we also learn on the 28th that Mal wrote that Mal was bringing equipment from EMI to Trident, which is where the Dear Prudence sessions took place. We know that, carrying the gear over, and that Ringo is there when he gets there, or he's there that evening. It's a little unclear. So we really have some pretty clear written evidence in Mal's diaries that he's with Ringo. Ringo is both at EMI on the 27th and at Trident on the 28th.
All right, then. So if we solve the mystery, you know what I'm saying? If we solve the mystery in 11 minutes, then why we got 30 more minutes, man? Why we got 30 more minutes, man? What is there to talk about?
And I'll read the quote directly from Ken, and we can cut this if that's something we decide to do, but this is exactly what Ken sent to us. Mal's diary entry has Ringo returning to EMI with George Harrison and Jackie Lomax on the 27th. That's when Mal celebrated his return to the fold with the flowers. That was the big flowers decked in the studio moment.
And I came back and went in the studio, and George had it decked out with flowers. It's just flowers everywhere.
The next day, the 28th, first day of Dear Prudence, there at Trident, Mal and Kevin had to haul all the equipment over to Trident from EMI that afternoon to make the session possible.
Wow.
Ringo was there, and they fated his return. Mal wrote more flowers and fruit.
More flowers.
More flowers.
More flowers.
Just imagine gift baskets of flowers. Just like piled up everywhere.
Way too many flowers. So this confirms from Mal Evans that Ringo was at Trident the 28th. First-hand source,
and at EMI the
guys.
night before.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that flower vignette, the story of Ringo's drums being decorated with loads of flowers is such a great story. And, originally in Mark Lewison's recording sessions book, that was put on the 5th of September after the Hey Jude promos were filmed. So that he had him returning way later.
It's also kind of cool just to hear that the story is real in a way. Some of these Beatles stories get repeated so often, they're almost like apocryphal. Like, did that really happen? But there's something about it being in Mal's diary, so specific on those days that it's like, oh, this is real. They really did that for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's really thoughtful. And
It's
I can
also
see
very
Ringo,
human that they got the dates a bit confused too, and
also
condensed the timelines and mixed up
Totally.
vignettes. Yeah, completely
Totally. It all
human.
makes so much more sense now. It's like it's a real story. They just got the date wrong.
Everybody knows Lizzie Bravo, the Brazilian fan who was around, hanging outside EMI all through the Sgt. Pepper sessions, taking amazing photos. I think Kathy Sarver is very similar in that she was, during the White Album sessions in 68 and Abbey Road sessions in 69, she was one of the fans outside. She had a camera. She was taking photos in real time, documenting the time, the date, where it was taken. I knew about her photos. A lot of them have been circulating online, but I found that she was interviewed in a documentary. And in the clip of the documentary, she's holding up her scrapbook of her photo album to this page, these dates.
Wow.
And got lucky, yeah.
Yeah. And there were photos that I'd never seen before of Ringo, and at the underneath there was, it's kind of hard to see because it was a small photo, or small frame, but there was a date which I thought was August 29th, 68. And so I managed to get in touch with her, and I asked her, "Is that correct?" I just wanted to confirm that what I thought I saw in the video is actually the truth. And she said, "No, actually, it's the 28th." So then the penny dropped for me. I was like, "Wait a second, that is the Dear Prudence session."
And before I hit the photo, I want to mention the most rewatched element of my video was the single photo I posted of August 30th and Ringo outside, which I will come to in a minute. But for folks who thought that was not Ringo, or that didn't verify Ringo was at the Trident Studios, at the Dear Prudence sessions, holy moly, guys, look what we got.
There he is.
That is the one and only.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Kathy's photo and Mel's diary placed Ringo at Trident Studios
Ringo
on day
and Maureen
one
are entering
of the Dear
St. Anne's
Prudence
Court, which is this very narrow alleyway in Soho in London's West End. And behind.
So he was there at the beginning of the Dear Prudence recording session. So I'm still thinking, like, why is this not solved yet? Like, so what has happened?
Behind them is a neon sign with a rooster in the middle that says Warner Pathé on it. And that's on Wardour Street. And so, like, you know, it all just checks out exactly where he was standing, where that photo was taken. So it was on, you know, on arrival to Trident Studios on the 28th.
And this is a scan directly from Kathy Sarver.
Yeah, we should say that she was very generous to share this, not only this photo, but 7 others. And all she's asked is for a donation to a humane society or an animal charity or something like that, that just puts some good into the world. We're going to do that personally, but we ask everybody else to contribute if they can. And let's pass on the good juju.
Man, but listen, that's the one thing about history that we get. That's one thing about history that has to be added on, like a multitude of witnesses, right? So not just what's written about, you know, are there pictures, newspaper articles? Where are these witnesses to this event? You know what I mean? So a lot of the times, like when we think about history, we think about it in a very like linear fashion. You know, we think about it like very linearly, like, and we end up beginning to convolute history history is just not about one source, right? There are multiple sources that gotta confirm things that happen in certain events. So it like when I watch documentaries like this or short videos, I'm always thinking about, okay, like even with American history, Black history, world history, right? We only know that from one perspective, but we don't have a perspective of like world history from a point of view of like the experience of those who were colonized or the experience of those experiencing war on the other side, not just on the victors. Like what were they going through? But I don't want to break out on a tangent. That's just me kind of bringing light to what's happening. So like I appreciate this and seeing that history is being told, like there's other evidence for historical fact, right?
Naturally has a part in Beatle history, essentially. She's like,
oh, she always has, but
this. I mean, this is like a late stage impact. Incredible, really.
It's like the Abraham Zapruder of the Dear Prudence debate, for sure. If Ringo was at every Dear Prudence session, is Paul playing drums at all on Dear Prudence?
Right.
Like, could Ringo be doing the whole thing?
That's my question.
That's, I think, the real main question here these photos have introduced is, was Paul ever playing drums on Dear Prudence? Was Ringo there this whole time?
It certainly opens that can of worms, doesn't it? It's, yeah, I mean, you have to think, who's the best drummer in the room? You know, if Ringo's there, why would he not play?
Where do we think the argument began that Paul was playing drums on Dear Prudence? Where did this start? Do we have any ideas?
I mean, it's the official narrative now, isn't it? Which has then been cemented by landmark books like Mark Lewison's recording sessions in 1988.
Yeah, I was trying to find the earliest source claiming Paul played the drums, and it was Mark's book in 1988. And then, I don't know if we can share this publicly, but we have checked with Mark on that. Can we share that? His recent opinion on that?
Yes, I spoke with Mark actually pretty recently around their new his new documentary film Evolver 62, and I asked one of the questions that came up was about Dear Prudence, and I think he's still a bit, you know, he hasn't quite dug into it as deeply as we have, but he now admits that the story about Ringo being away for 2 weeks and making it impossible to be there, that account is mistaken, and Ringo has been perpetuating the myth for years himself.
Ringo thinks he went away to Sardinia, but he went to Sardinia at the end of the White Album. He only went there once, and it was after the White Album was finished. There's stuff that places him there in October. There's nothing that places.
Right. So I think Mark is aware that the core of this story, which is probably the source of the credit to Paul solely, is in fact not true. Mm-hmm. Which kind of leads us to digging deeper into it, and we're finding other evidence, establishing that. But I think a lot of it, does come from Ringo's recollection originally that he was gone for this whole period, which isn't the case.
So my biggest question is, why would Ringo not remember being there? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was the reason for that?
So having the basic track done on the 28th, they then began the overdubs. So those included Paul's bass, John's lead vocal, backing vocals, hand claps and tambourine, and they had some visitors.
This is the November Beatles Book Monthly. It is Mal Evans going through track by track the White Album and his personal observations of the sessions. Paul plays piano and flugelhorn. John and I play tambourine. Clapping and chorus singing by all 4 Beatles.
Oh, okay.
I repeat, clapping and chorus singing by all 4 Beatles. Also Paul's cousin John, Apple rocker Jackie Lomax, and yours truly, and that is Mal Evans.
I mean, why would he say that if all 4 were not there? It just seems so specific of a detail. And we know Mal is there. We know he's contributing to the track, too. He's around a microphone.
Yeah,
so.
but the weird thing to me is it didn't say Ringo on the drums. Like, it just say all 4 Beatles. So I feel like there's a hole there a little bit.
Oh, seems oddly specific.
I love this article in Beatles Book Monthly because this shows why Mal was keeping those notes. He didn't necessarily have a reason to be documenting who was at each session and playing which instrument, but it's because of things like this where he also sometimes got paid to write or have ghost written articles done for 16 magazine and other things like that. But this whole kind of preview of the White Album track by track talking about the sessions, this is why he was keeping those notes.
If all 4 Beatles were doing backing vocals, we may be able to hear Ringo on that track. And a lot of folks who responded to my video did comment, what about Round, Round, Round? Do you hear Ringo there? I think I hear Ringo there.
Round, 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 round.
So what we've prepared here, there is some new track isolation technology. We have a couple different companies. The best tool I found was able to separate a vocal track 4 ways: soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. So I took just that section of Dear Prudence and did all 4. So what I'll do is hit all 4, and you guys can tell me if and when you hear Ringo. Really not much there to go off of, really.
It's kind of hard to go. Sounds like Paul to me.
Me too.
Yeah, pretty clear.
Paul McCartney. Sounds pretty close.
That's an easy one.
Round, 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 round. Round, 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 round.
Who do you guys hear?
We are hearing multiple voices there, but I think the one that you're pointing to is George there.
Yeah, George is the most obvious one. Now, the thing about the technology is there is kind of overlapping vocals. So the tenor isolation might pick up some bass and vice versa. Now, if you guys agree with me, the other voices, one of them at least, kind of sounds like Ringo, doesn't it?
Yeah. I was going to say, if you told me Ringo was in that section, I would believe it.
Let's hit that one again. Yeah, I think that might be worth playing again.
Yeah.
Round, round, round,
Yeah.
round, 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 round.
On that
And
bit.
George.
Round, 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 round.
Back to George. Yeah. Now the bass is where it gets really interesting, guys. Now there's a lot going on here.
Round, round, round,
Wow.
round, 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 round.
Now, all of them in bass.
Round, 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 round.
So I hear John, and we have evidence Jackie Lomax says he did the low harmony. So I think Jackie Lomax, if we trust his recollection, is in there too.
Yeah.
Round.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't know how he did that.
Like shaking the floor. That's a good one.
So now that we've isolated every possible soprano, alto, tenor, bass element of that part of the song, can we conclusively say we hear Ringo?
I wouldn't
Kind
commit to
of.
it 100%, but it certainly sounds like he's in the mix to me. You know, he's got a very distinct voice, and other examples where there's a group singing on Carry That Weight or Flying, it's pretty easy to pick him out of the chorus there. And similarly, I think you can kind of hear him in the mix here.
What do you think of Paul as a drummer?
He's great, but he only has one sort of set rhythm and one style.
Obadiah found two really cool Ringo interviews from the 70s where he's asked what did he play drums on and not play drums on in the Beatles. So without any commentary, I'll just play both back to back.
In one of the albums, Paul did the drumming. Are there any more records that he fit in for you?
No, the only two records that I've never played on were Ballad of John and Yoko and USSR. I was away for that.
What do you think of Paul as a drummer?
He's great, but he only has one sort of set rhythm and one style, and he's great on that. But if you try and get him into anything else, he can't make it, you know. But he's good on if you listen to those two tracks, you'll hear that the drumming is the same.
That's pretty amazing, man. That's a pretty amazing clip. Yeah.
And that's less than 18 months after these sessions, so it's pretty fresh.
The date I have here is January 26, 1970, which you put on the clip. Yeah.
The tracks I never played on Love Me Do originally, USSR, which Paul played on, and the Ballads of John and Yoko. They're the three tracks I know. All the other tracks I played on.
So he's very consistent in saying the songs he did not play on, and seemed to have a pretty low ego about it. If he didn't play, he would just say it. He wouldn't cover for it. I think one of the important elements of this whole debate is not just session notes, photographs, but the actual chord drumming. The 16th notes on that drumming, we've yet to find a real example of Paul playing 16th notes at that speed on the hi-hat, and I think that's an important thing to mention. We thought we had found one, but it turned out to be a different drummer on a Paul McCartney solo track, but I think that's one of the tells about his limitations is why we don't see 16th notes, and I've listened to dozens of Paul McCartney drumming performances, so...
Anything I really can't do is shuffles. They're difficult to do. That's just a coordination.
I couldn't do the shuffle like Ringo. He's a... You'll be able to do that much better.
If anyone's watching it can unearth some, certainly put them in the comments, but I think that's a pretty clear hint of something I never considered till recently, that Ringo is playing the basic track, which to me is completely mind-blowing.
It may just be one of these cases where because we've heard it's Paul for so long, we're almost forcing ourselves to come up with explanations for it when Occam's razor would just be like, well, if it's Ringo, all of this makes sense. There is no explanation.
Right,
He's just playing basic drum track.
He's playing the drums.
So it may be a case of that.
And some people point to the fact that the 16th notes are very straight and not swung, which is more of a Ringo signature.
I think anytime I hit him, it has a vague swing going down.
One of his quirks as a drummer is swing. Almost everything he does is swung. He says this in his master class. You can see it and hear it in all of his fills and a lot of his playing with the Beatles.
It all has a bit of that in it when I play.
He could also easily not swing things when it suited the song.
Straight rock and roll, which came after the big bands and Little Richard were all playing swing. They sort of straightened everything out to be.
And then if you wanted kind of visual evidence that Ringo doesn't always swing the hi-hat, in the movie Help, they're doing You're Gonna Lose That Girl, and you can see Ringo visibly hitting the hi-hat. Not with that little wishy-washy thing he's doing, but straight up and down. If we're doing circumstantial evidence, I think it's pretty clear Ringo could easily do straight hi-hat 16th notes perfectly fine, and we've yet to hear an example of Paul doing it. In my video, I kind of conclude with a smoking gun type of fill. The end of my video is showing that I recreated the part note for note, and you could find fingerprints of other Beatles fills in that part. They were all Ringo fills. But at the very end was a very unique fill. Only Ringo really played. It was left, right, right, left, right, right, left. It's on a couple records. It's on The Word. It's on Dear Prudence. A variation of it is on Drive My Car, Nowhere Man, The Word. But I've never seen video of him doing this, and that would just be an amazing thing to see. But I have a fan who found a jam session Ringo did in the last 5 years, I think, who found him doing this fill. Now, it's not the snare and the floor tom that you see or hear in Dear Prudence. It's the rack tom and the snare, but it's left, right, right, left, right, right, left. So we have video of him doing the fill, not quite the same pieces on the kit, but left, right, left, right, right, left. Greg Bissonette has sworn to me Ringo does it all the time. It is a Ringo fill, climaxing the end of Dear Prudence. So
he's literally like, over the years, been like proving he's playing this left, right, right, left, right, right tone on the drums. Crazy.
3, August 30th, the last day of the Dear Prudence session. It's my time to make a correction, guys, and I'm going to eat some crow. Kathy Sarver, who we've mentioned and we've connected with thanks to Obadiah, not only sent new pictures, but sent uncropped versions of pictures that we have seen before, including the one I used in my video. A photograph has surfaced that's apparently August 30th, of the Beatles leaving Trident Studios after that last Dear Prudence overdub session. Now, if that's not Ringo behind Yoko, I will eat my nose. Now, to completely embarrass myself, this is a picture of the Beatles entering Trident Studios August 30th. If you look behind Yoko, there is a figure who I believed, and still kind of believe, resembles Ringo Starr. Now, this is the uncropped photo. The photo I had ended before you could see something very special, which is the jacket this person is wearing, and the jacket of the person next to that person. And Obadiah very politely told me exactly who these people are. And they are these folks. Is it Jude Reno is the fan on the left? Do I have that right, Obadiah?
Oh,
right.
so it
and
wasn't
Helene
Ringo.
Weiss is on the right, our right, Paul's left.
On the right, yeah. So this is Paul McCartney in the middle, obviously. This is 1968. On the right is Helene Weiss. On the left, Jude Reno. Clearly, lightly stalking the Beatles. And the picture that I saw that I still laugh at when I see it is this one. That is a Ringo profile on this fan. Ringo's nose, Ringo's hairstyle, Ringo's approximate height, hanging around with John Lennon. So going back to the original photo, we have the white jacket we saw in the previous picture. We had the green army jacket on Jude. And I think I can conclusively eat my nose and say that is not Ringo in the August 30th photo. I denounce and reject myself. The evidence I found is Neil's wedding. We do have the Beatles monthly book, the tiny one here, which has pictures of Ringo at Neil's wedding, very clear ones. I paid way too much money for it, a second article confirming Ringo's presence at Neil's wedding. This is from Daily Express, August 31st, the next day. So we now have two sources verifying Ringo in London. There we go. You have the book too.
Great
and there's, there's even photos of him taking photos at the wedding. If you want photographic evidence, there it is.
So we have two sources placing Ringo in London at Neil's wedding, and it was only 3 miles away from Trident. And based on the session time, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., the wedding had to be before that.
Yeah.
So we have Ringo at the wedding. He's hanging out with Paul, George Martin, Maureen, and Neil. And then later in the night, Dear Prudence session number 3. Now, I guess, unfortunately, unless you guys have differing thoughts, that's really the only evidence we have that Ringo was also at the August 30th session.
Yeah, I think the thing that is probably what makes this a little bit easier in our case is that, like, the 30th doesn't seem like they did
we
that
still
much
reacting
according to the documentation. So it's possible Ringo didn't go, and it doesn't really impact the outcome of our conclusion either, I think. If they did the bulk of the drum work 28th, maybe the overdub was on the 29th. It does seem like the 30th was kind of a wrap-up session plus a quick mix. So maybe Ringo just said, hey, I don't need to go, and that doesn't rule out the rest of our case is all I'm saying.
So I think one
So
of the
more
remaining
mysteries?
mysteries here is we don't really know when this drum overdub was recorded. And I think there is a reason why, and it's a lack of documentation at Trident Studios. Does anyone have more background about why that was?
EMI is actually kind of unique in how much documentation there is. Trident Studios had only been open since March 1968. To compete with the big studios like EMI and Decca, the best way to do that was to get the most modern technology. And so they were one of the first studios to have 8-track recording facilities where EMI was still recording on 4-track. Anyway, to circle back to the documentation, they were an independent studio, not a lot of staff, and basically, as far as I know, the only...
So pretty much like everybody who should have been there should have signed in, but nobody didn't. So that's on the studio.
Documentation that exists from Trident are the tape boxes, which do have information about what was on each channel. But we've never seen the tape box of Dear Prudence. It's never been shared. The one for Hey Jude, which was the only other track they ever recorded at Trident up to this point, is in the deluxe booklet. And so we can see exactly, all 8 tracks, what was on each track. I can only assume that that exists for Dear Prudence. Yeah.
So we don't quite know when the overdub was recorded. Till the tape box comes out, we may never know.
Kind of no idea, yeah.
And that wouldn't necessarily tell you the date that things were done either. It would probably have the date of the first session, but then it would just have a list of tracks and what was on each track.
It might be helpful, I think, for people watching, like maybe they haven't watched all the other videos yet, but like just to establish why this track is a bit special too, as far as how they recorded it. I mean, they're at Trident, we know that. They're using 8-track tape, which for them at this point was kind of new and fresh. So they had a lot of, opportunities to add extra instruments, overdub things. And also for some reason, there are no outtakes to this, as far as I know. Like every account I've read is that there was basically one finished track that they just kept going back and fixing and adding more onto and whatever. So unlike a lot of the other songs, we don't have anything else to work with. Like there's no chatter before it. There's no what we have is all. So it's a bit of a peculiar case because even though there are overdubbed drums, we don't have the earlier versions. There may have been other stuff even done before this, right? So it's a particularly tricky one. It's all I'm pointing out for people to understand. It's not the usual Beatles fare.
On my video, a lot of the initial comments supporting Paul said, listen to some of these songs and tell me they don't sound like Dear Prudence. And the examples were My Dark Hour, Mama Miss America, and I'm going to mispronounce this, Crean Acori.
What?
Crean Acori. I've been thinking about this, and the first thought I had was, all these are on McCartney 1, or at least a lot of them are on McCartney 1. And Paul is using Ringo's kit.
Law number 5 is next. This is
Using Ringo's kit. Okay. All right.
Ringo Starr's first Ludwig drum kit, and it is the drum kit acquired by Ringo Starr in April of 1963 and used by him extensively as his sole drum kit from the 12th of May 1963 to the 4th of February 1964. It was additionally used by Paul McCartney to record his first solo album, McCartney, in 1970.
I think that's an important factor. The drum kit Paul is using, it's an Oyster Black Pearl kit, a 1963 downbeat kit. It's a Ludwig snare. If folks are saying, well, the snare sounds just like Dear Prudence, well, it's because it's Ringo's kit.
Yeah.
So what I've done is isolated the drums on all 3 of those tracks and only pulled out the most impressive fills to me. Now, I thought that was impressive because he's alternating between the rack tom and the snare pretty quickly, and I'll play that slowed down. So what stood out to me is that he's alternating between the rack tom and the snare, not the floor tom and the snare. So we can kind of do this, but it doesn't show to me he can alternate between all of the drums on his kit, between both toms and the snare. Now, one important element here, which I haven't mentioned, is there are 2 drum performances on this song.
Right.
He's playing 2 different drum performances, one on each channel. So I thought this was, oh wow, he's really kind of alternating quickly between the snare and the tom. It's because the tom is from the other track. That's why.
Oh, so if the tom is on the other track, then they stitched it to where it sounds like it's connecting. Okay, I get it.
Isn't most of the song just sort of solo drum work, like explorations. He's not playing along to a band. He's not trying to follow some rhythm. He's just sort of jamming on his own. So it seems like that would be
This is Paul's impression of tribal drumming. Basically.
That's exactly right.
The track is inspired by a South American Native American tribe called the Kreenakore. So that's exactly what he's trying to do here.
Mama Miss America is a bit easier. I had just one fill, and he plays it twice. So he does alternate there between the rack tom and the snare, which is Ringo-esque. Do-da-da-da-dun-dun. Now the caveat is there's no floor tom. It's just the rack tom and the snare. So Paul could alternate if the drum's in front of him. The most impressive Paul fill I heard was on My Dark Hour, and this actually brought my opinion up pretty high. So what he's doing is floor tom, rack tom, alternating. And it impressed me because it's one of the fills Ringo plays on Rain. And at that point I was like, Paul's a better drummer than I thought. It was the first time I heard him play an actual difficult Ringo fill.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, like, we're not trying to knock Paul either. I think it's just, to be clear, like, I think there's a lot of people in the comments who sort of take this as a slight against Paul, who's
not at all.
No, I don't think so.
obviously
I don't
incredibly
think so.
talented as multi-instrumentalist. Like, no knock on him at all, but there's a line where it just seems like, well, if Ringo was there, there's a very, very high likelihood that the complexity can be attributed to him rather than a slight on Paul. Just to put that out there to anyone who's about to post
it's
how much we hate Paul or something.
Paul is my favorite Beatle and has been for a while. So I'll end with the words of one of our greatest poets, Sir Paul McCartney. The way I tried to explain it on Give Me Some Truth is like, Shohei Ohtani couldn't swim at the Olympics. Like, he's the best baseball player who's ever lived. He's a 5-tool player. Every athlete has a limitation.
Right.
It doesn't make them a poor athlete. Like, Paul was an incredible pianist, guitar player, bass player.
Like Michael Jordan trying to play baseball, like greatest basketball player in the world, but he can't play baseball. Great athlete, can't play baseball because he spent most of his time playing basketball. That's what he's a master at. Yeah.
Songwriter, performer. That doesn't mean he's a great drummer. That doesn't translate. The fact that he's a really good drummer shows what a great musician he is. But to say that there's things that Ringo could do that Paul could not is no strike against Paul's musicianship, his talent, or our love for him. But it's a fact, and it's important to acknowledge with debates about who's playing what on what song. Paul, don't burn my house down, please. I love you. My final question for you guys is, for those who are still on the fence, what could possibly end it for them?
It's tough to say.
Yeah,
I think even if Ringo says it, it's not a reliable enough source for some people, or if Paul says it, it's so far removed at this point. And maybe just on a more sort of broad topic, like, I think the world we live in now, the whole notion of truth has kind of shifted to where I think people are much more comfortable with their own narrative than they are with reality, which is sad to say. So you could present every piece of evidence ever and someone still might not accept it. They'll say, oh, AI came up with that or something. Like, I think we're just in a different era now for what is truth, but that's a whole other discussion for another day. But as far as the context of this, I think I would be curious if somebody showed this to Ringo at some point and showed him the photo of him there and played the snippet. Could he just be definitively confirming it? That would be, for me, that would be such an interesting moment. But what else do you guys have in mind?
I think I'm a bit more optimistic than you, because I think if it were presented funnily to Paul, if the part of my video recreating the fills was presented to Paul and someone just said, is there any point in your life you could do that? I think his answer would be no. And I think that would definitively solve it. I think even more so. I think if Ringo saw it and said, those are my fills, that's also getting really close to case completely closed, lock him in jail, throw the key away. But if Paul said also, I cannot do that, that's it. The debate is over. So if any of you guys interview Paul or Ringo at any point, play them that part, because I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to completely end this, even for the diehards who don't believe all the evidence presented so far.
I just wanted to say that Ray is really the OG in this whole thing, because his video came out first and was a useful resource for when I was making my episodes. So thank you, Ray.
I never guessed it would have spawned so many other like interesting follow-up dimensions. And funny story too, when I was randomly listening to your podcast, Obadiah, I found it, somebody on think on Reddit had mentioned it or something like that. And I was listening to the very first or second episode, whichever one this was. And it was like, oh, it's about Dear Prudence. This is going to be so interesting. And then you mentioned, well, I watched this video. I'm on YouCan and hear this about it. And I was like blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, it's led to so much else. And I found you're just, you know, the depth of analysis you put into that episode is astounding. And finding the photos, incredible. So I hope this sort of stuff, the whole purpose of even my work is just inspiring a further conversation about it. You know, I don't have the definitive answers either. I don't think any of us really do. Right?
Well, this is what I love about history and Beatles history specifically is, you know, obviously my passion, but a new piece of evidence comes along and it just rewrites everything. And that's what, you know, history is a malleable thing. It's a growing thing. It has to change with new evidence.
Wow. So what do y'all think about that? I know it took a little while for us to get there, but I agree with them. I agree with them. I agree with the whole premise that Ringo was there. But you do have people out there that's going to say, man, I don't care about none of that. Paul did that. You know, with the way we receive information today, everything is like relative. You know what I mean? But I do want to give a shout out to Daniel Bildo for this one. I would like for it to be shorter. I would like for it to be shorter. I mean, we pretty much said it was Ringo like 12 minutes into the video. But what they did was give us all-encompassing possibility that even with all this evidence, it could still be not Ringo. Paul could have did it. And with the era that we are in where you can question everything, it definitely doesn't stick as much as it should, right? So with that being said, shout out to all of the channels involved with this video. You can't unhear this. Beatles Reconstructed. Yeah, shout out to those channels, man. And the guys involved in the video and all the research, man. But shout out to them, man. Y'all can go subscribe to them as well. All right. So with that being said, catch you guys at another one. Peace. Woo-wee. Are we still awake? It wasn't a lot of chatting. Are we still awake in the crowd? Let me know. Michael's still alive. What about everybody else? We see about 12 people in here, so still got about 12 people. Let me see. Ashley's here, Michael, and me. All right. So I'm Catherine. So give me you guys' thoughts on all that. I know probably I was like a little bit more multitasking, but we're going to get back to the music. Okay, we're going to get back to the music. So, hey, what's up, Hippie Joe? How you doing? Okay. You have to go back, man. That was a 40-minute video. And I am hungry. Hey man, I'm glad that but Hippie Joe, it's a good day, man. I'm glad you're still here with us. I'm glad that I'm glad to see you. I was thinking about, before I started, I think I was thinking about like whether you was, cause I hadn't seen you, I think you was in the last live stream, but I think you came in pretty late. Hippie Joe. Hippie. Man. All right, so where do we go from here? Daniel giving us the long documentary strokes, man. All right, so I kind of know where we're going from here. Let me see. Let me see. Ooh. Hey, we've been on for 3 hours? We've been on for 3 hours? Oh my goodness. I didn't think it would be 3 hours. It must have took us quite a bit to get through the first reactions, the first 5 for 50. And then we did this one. Yeah, 2 hours on top of that. And it took me about 40 minutes to get started. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. All right, so what else we got? So we pretty much did those. We did the 5 for 50. And then I think he had, and then, for me it is. If he was there, he was there. I mean, if they done proved that Paul can't play certain notes as far as like certain rhythms on the drums, I would say Ringo was there. But there's always a slight possibility that it's always a possibility, Daniel. Definitely. Okay, so all right, so we're gonna get back to the music. Okay. let me see. Depending on, because normally around this time is where YouTube start tripping. So I'm gonna play. We gonna react to some more stuff, and if YouTube start tripping, then I'll take a quick break, eat, and then I'll come back and give y'all the good double header. Oh yeah. All right. So, all right, let's get into buy me a coffee. Let me see. I gotta remember where. Okay. Cara, Greta, or Atlanta, Little Feet. One thing about buy me a car, I wish they had dates when people. Wish they had dates. Cool cat. Let me look at this sweatshirt orchids. Okay. Rick James, Prince, sweatshirt. Okay. Apricot. Okay, so Atlanta. Yahoo. Rachel, Lynn, Steve. I don't think I got the one from Little Feet. Let me see. Oh, Atlanta. I didn't get that one. Sorry, I'm kind of figuring it out. Yeah, let me take a lunch break. I'm gonna take a lunch break because I'm hungry. So give me, I know I keep saying this, but give me about an hour. Give me to about 3. Well, it'd be 3:00 my time, but I'm gonna be back for another round. And we're gonna do some more music from do some more reaction requests. But yeah, I gotta get something to eat. So thank you everybody for checking it out. Thank you everybody for being here and sticking it in. Hey yo, no Diddy. Shout out to Daniel, Michael, Sam, Ashley, Renee, everybody that was in the chat. And I'll be right back. All right. Catch you guys in another one.